Chapter 101, Filming begins. Drake's intense gaze locked onto Lucas, drawing a hush over the room as every cast and crew member's focus converged on them. The moment stretched, filled with anticipation, until finally, Drake broke the silence. "All right, Lucas," Drake said, his voice breaking through the tension. "I'm in. Let's do this." A collective exhale filled the room, shoulders relaxed, and faces lit up with smiles as the decision cemented the project's future. They immediately gathered around to discuss the scripts, the energy palpable. As they delved into the script, Felicity Jones and Jennifer Lawrence exchanged meaningful glances, a silent conversation passing between them. "Lucas is really going all in, isn't he?" Felicity whispered, her admiration thinly veiled. Jennifer's response was measured, her eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and respect. "Indeed, it's quite the gamble. He's clearly committed." Catching snippets of their conversation, Lucas responded with a modest grin. "For me, it's more than just a financial investment," he said, catching the gaze of both Felicity and Jennifer. "I'm here to immerse myself in the creative process with Drake. It's about broadening my horizons." Jennifer found Lucas's perspective compelling, a reflection of genuine passion and curiosity. Felicity, however, harbored reservations. To her, the distinction between actor and director was clear, and blurring those lines was a risk she wasn't sure was necessary. Despite her doubts, she chose to keep them to herself, respecting Lucas's decision to pursue his vision. Later, Drake and Lucas found a quiet corner. "So, we're looking at $380,000 from you, which takes us to a $630,000 budget," Drake confirmed, scribbling some notes. Lucas nodded, his mind already racing with the possibilities. "Exactly. And about the box office shares?" Their detailed planning was suddenly interrupted by a sharp knock. Drake excused himself and returned moments later, a sheepish grin on his face. "That was Jerry from next door," he explained to the group. "Apparently, we've been a bit too passionate." He mimed, turning down a volume knob. "Let's keep our excitement on the down low, okay?" The room erupted in a chorus of light-hearted apologies and chuckles. The script meeting was a quiet affair, with the team huddled closely, speaking in whispers as they pored over each scene. In the midst of this, Felicity Jones leaned forward, her suggestion slicing through the silence with clarity. "How about, when Anna invites Jacob into her apartment, they communicate in whispers?" she proposed, aiming to add a layer of intimacy to the scene. Drake's face lit up, his surprise quickly turning into enthusiasm. "That's an excellent idea," he said, clearly impressed by the ingenuity of her suggestion. As they continued to tweak the script, Lucas, Drake, Jennifer, Felicity, and the others found themselves in a gentle buzz of collaboration. Lucas, eager to contribute, shared his vision of blending diverse cinematic styles, drawing inspiration from the rich visual narrative of Amélie, the mumblecore aesthetics of Before Sunset, the episodic structure of Paris, Jetma, and the documentary-like authenticity of Weekend. His ambition was to create a film that was as visually engaging as it was emotionally resonant. Drake nodded thoughtfully at Lucas's ideas, recognizing the depth of his passion for filmmaking. "You've got some fantastic concepts, Lucas," he acknowledged, "but blending them smoothly will be quite the challenge." He appreciated Lucas's fresh perspective, even as he contemplated the practicalities of bringing such a complex vision to life. As the day wore on, the practical effects of Lucas's financial contribution became apparent. The camera equipment saw a significant upgrade, moving from the Canon EOS 7D to the more advanced Canon EOS 5D Mark II. This wasn't just a technical upgrade, it was a commitment to realizing the unique visual style Lucas had envisioned. Additionally, the lighting and sound gear were enhanced, ensuring that the film could capture the nuanced performances and atmospheric settings with greater fidelity. The group's dedication was palpable as they discussed and debated well into the evening. By the time they called it a day, there was a collective feeling of achievement and excitement. Lucas's investment had done more than just improve the technical aspects of the film, it had expanded the project's creative potential. As dawn broke, the newly upgraded filming equipment was meticulously arranged on set, heralding the start of an eagerly anticipated day of shooting. Despite not being scheduled to appear on camera, members of the cast drifted to the set, eager to witness the day's filming and support their fellow actors, Lucas and Felicity. The infusion of Lucas's investment into the project had a palpable impact on the crew's workflow. Initially, many crew members had juggled multiple roles out of necessity, a proof to the resourceful but stretched nature of the indie production. Now, with the budget significantly increased, the production was able to specialize tasks among the crew. This specialization allowed for a more focused and efficient approach to each aspect of filmmaking, attracting professionals with specific expertise to elevate the quality of the production. The day's filming took place in a meticulously designed school setting, which served as the backdrop for a scene that delved into the rich history of independent journalism. Publications like Rolling Stone and Spare Rib were created to feed the need for alternative narratives from the established newspapers of the day. In much the same way, the pauper press of the 1790s in England was developed out of a need for mass representation for the popular classes, Felicity articulated, her delivery both poignant and compelling. As she concluded her lines, the camera operators, now able to work with equipment that matched their ambition, captured the scene with precision. The lighting and sound crews, too, worked in harmony, ensuring that every nuance of Felicity's performance was perfectly illuminated and crisply recorded. "Thank you, Anna. Very provocative. Well done. Does anyone else have a presentation to make?" A character playing a professor inquired, prompting a murmur of student chatter to fill the room. "All right, make sure you turn in your final packet to Jacob. And thank you very much," he continued, transitioning the focus to Lucas's character, Jacob. The availability of 4 cameras of equal quality transformed the filming process. What had initially been an unconventional approach due to equipment limitations now blossomed into a strategy of flexibility and creative freedom. The team was able to capture multiple angles simultaneously, ensuring that the essence of each scene was preserved from every perspective. Chapter 102, Self-Important. On the bustling set, Jennifer watched intently as her gaze landed on Lucas, who was about to step into Jacob's shoes. The moment Felicity, embodying Anna, greeted Lucas with a simple hi, his portrayal of Jacob sprang to life. The camera didn't miss the fleeting change in Jacob's demeanor as his eyes met Anna's. His look briefly betrayed a wave of nervousness, a moment caught not only by Jennifer but also by the rest of the cast. Anna's line, "I don't need to give you mine because I've already done it," was delivered with precision. Despite the visible nerves, Lucas, as Jacob, managed to lock eyes with Anna confidently, responding with a casual, "Cool." Anna, maintaining eye contact, echoed with a laugh, "Cool." Once Anna left, Jacob remained alone in the room. Watching Anna's retreating figure, he let out a soft chuckle, "Het." His chest rose and fell more heavily, revealing Jacob's underlying nervous excitement. Drake watched the scene unfold, his expression one of unexpected admiration. Lucas's interpretation of the character was uniquely his own, leaving an impression. At the director's call of cut, the crew's look of respect towards Lucas was undeniable. Jennifer, along with the other cast members, was visibly moved by Lucas's performance. Charlie approached her, saying, "He's quite good there, right?" Caught up in the moment, Jennifer nodded absent-mindedly before turning to Charlie. Their previous lack of interaction made his approach unexpected. "Hi, I'm Charlie," he introduced himself. "I didn't get the chance to speak with you yesterday. You were busy with Lucas and Felicity." Jennifer responded with a friendly, "No worries." Charlie, curious, asked, "Are you friends with Felicity?" Shaking her head, Jennifer clarified, "No, I just met her yesterday." "And Lucas? You seem to know him pretty well." Charlie prodded. With a soft laugh, Jennifer admitted, "Not really, but I suppose we could be considered friends." It was a mystery why Charlie sought her out for conversation, especially since Jennifer and Charlie didn't share any scenes together. Unbeknownst to many, Charlie's motivation to audition for the project stemmed from its inclusion of intimate and kissing scenes. Eager to rub shoulders with Hollywood's rising stars, Charlie saw it as a golden opportunity, despite not having any scenes with Jennifer. However, he remained hopeful about making a connection off-camera. As Charlie trying his luck, Lucas, Felicity, and Drake were huddled around the camera's playback screen, scrutinizing their recent takes. Lucas, upon reviewing his own performance, expressed his concerns to Drake, "I feel like my performance is missing something." Drake looked at Lucas, genuinely surprised, and reassured him, "Missing something? I don't think so. Your portrayal captured Jacob's nervousness and bravery perfectly when he's alone with Anna. I thought it was quite compelling." Lucas, unconvinced, responded, "Maybe it's not apparent to you because you're not an actor, or perhaps you don't fully understand my approach, but I believe it could be significantly improved." Those within earshot, including Drake, Felicity, and other crew members, found Lucas's self-critique hard to fathom. Many silently wondered, "Are you serious? That performance was outstanding. What they failed to grasp was Lucas's innate sense that something crucial was missing, something that diminished his portrayal, making it feel like a mix of stage and screen acting, too theatrical for the intimate camera, yet not quite vivid enough for the big screen. In Lucas's eyes, it lacked depth. As Felicity watched Lucas critique his own performance, she was struck by a whirlwind of emotions. Initially confident in her ability to deliver a standout performance, Lucas's dissatisfaction with his own work ignited a spark of doubt within her. She couldn't help but wonder if her performance had truly been sufficient. Despite believing in her skills, Lucas's self-criticism led her to question the quality of her own portrayal. Was it really as good as I thought, or am I just seeing it through rose-colored glasses? She pondered. The notion that Lucas's discontent might stem from her performance added another layer of worry. Yet, she was possibly overthinking it. Lucas's concern seemed rooted in his own expectations, not directly related to her. Lucas's dissatisfaction with his performance led to the decision to reshoot the scene, causing a stir among the crew. Initially, they had admired Lucas for both his acting prowess and his financial contribution to the project. However, this admiration began to wane as they perceived his insistence on perfection as somewhat excessive. The general sentiment was one of frustration. They couldn't understand why a performance they deemed outstanding needed to be redone simply because Lucas felt it was lacking. Amid their conversation, Jennifer and Charlie were taken aback to see the crew and cast preparing for another take. Charlie's curiosity got the better of him, and he inquired, "Wait. Why are they coming back? Wasn't the scene already wrapped up?" A crew member, unable to hide his irritation, responded with a forced laugh, "Yeah, it's because Lucas didn't think his performance cut it. So, here we are, about to do it all over again." Hearing this, both Jennifer and Charlie were puzzled. Not good enough. They recalled Lucas's performance, which had seemed both powerful and compelling to them. Charlie, after a brief chat with the crew member, shared his thoughts with Jennifer. "I used to think Lucas was pretty laid back. Didn't expect him to be this. I don't know, self-important? Maybe he's trying to show off his acting chops by criticizing his own work. Kind of funny, isn't it?" He then speculated, could this be why he invested in the film? Just to have the clout to boss everyone around. Jennifer, however, remained quiet, her gaze fixed on Lucas in the distance. Her past interactions with him didn't align with Charlie's accusations of arrogance. She felt sure Lucas had a valid reason for wanting to redo the scene. The more she observed him, the more her curiosity about his character grew. Unlike Charlie's quick judgment, Jennifer's thoughts were filled with a desire to understand the deeper layers of Lucas's commitment to his acting career. Chapter 103, Dilemma. On set, Lucas, in his role as Jacob, delivered a performance that impressed everyone. However, after the shoot, Lucas, alongside Drake and Felicity, revisited the footage. Viewing his portrayal on the Canon EOS 7Di screen, Lucas couldn't shake off a feeling of discontent, remarking, "Something isn't right with my acting here." This admission rendered Drake, Felicity, and the nearby crew speechless. Drake attempted to reassure him, "Come on, we've gone through numerous takes. Your performance is genuinely compelling. Perhaps you're just being overly critical of yourself." Drake recognized Lucas's exceptional talent in Hollywood but felt his perfectionism was becoming counterproductive. This sentiment was shared not only by Drake but also by Felicity and the rest of the crew, who found Lucas's meticulousness increasingly frustrating. Feeling the need for a moment of solitude, Lucas excused himself and wandered down the hallway, lost in introspection. Observing his departure, Felicity voiced her concern to Drake, "Is he going to be okay?" Drake replied with a sigh, "I'm not sure. To be honest, I have great admiration for Lucas. His work in 127 hours was exemplary, and his current performance is strong. Yet, he's too self-critical. Does he truly believe his acting is lacking? By that standard, what does it say about the rest of us in Hollywood?" Felicity nodded in silent agreement. Elsewhere, Lucas, meandering through the hallway, encountered Jennifer and Charlie engaged in conversation. Aware that their presence might disrupt filming, they, along with others not involved in the current scene, had distanced themselves from the set. Jennifer inquired, "Have you finished filming?" Lucas responded, "No, we've barely started. We can't seem to get the first scene right because I feel something's off with my performance." He was aware of the annoyance his insistence caused among the crew and cast, a departure from his usual demeanor. For the first time, he doubted his portrayal of Jacob, despite extensive preparation. Jennifer and Charlie looked at him incredulously. Charlie remarked, "Lucas, you're a talented actor, but this perfectionism could hold back the project. Even if you've invested financially, accepting the work might be for the best." Interrupting, Jennifer said, "Charlie, don't be so harsh. Lucas only wants what's best for the project." Lucas, however, conceded, "No, Jennifer. Charlie is right. My insistence on perfection might be troubling everyone." He sighed, then added, "But I believe if I could get it right, it could truly elevate the film." The pair fell silent, pondering his words. Lucas then excused himself, "I need some time alone to clear my thoughts and figure out what's missing in my performance." As he walked away, Jennifer hastened after him, leaving Charlie behind. Catching up, she tentatively offered, "Lucas, if you'd like, we could discuss your performance. Perhaps I could help you in some way." Her offer was made shyly, hinting at a desire to help. Lucas offered a grateful smile to Jennifer, his heart warmed by her empathy. Amid the growing sense of alienation from the project's team, Jennifer's genuine willingness to help was a ray of light. "I should thank you in advance," he said, his smile reaching his eyes. Jennifer, touched by the authenticity of his smile, felt her heart skip a beat, prompting her to shyly look away as they walked side by side through the hallway. "So, Lucas, you feel there's something off with your performance in that scene? Can you identify what's missing?" she gently probed. Lucas sighed, his expression clouded with frustration. "I'm at a loss. There's definitely something lacking, but I can't quite figure out what it is." Jennifer's interest was piqued, thought, "That's quite intriguing. Understanding Lucas' situation right now could even offer insights for my own acting career in the future," she reflected. "So, you sense a gap in your performance but can't pinpoint it?" Lucas simply nodded. Before Jennifer could delve deeper, Lucas mentioned, "Actually, I have the camera right here. You can watch the scene and see for yourself." He proceeded to open his bag, pulled out the handheld camera, and handed it to a surprised Jennifer. "You have the camera with you?" Jennifer asked, eyebrows raised. "Yes," Lucas confirmed, "I borrowed it from Drake so I could review the scene more closely. It might help me identify what's missing." Jennifer nodded thoughtfully as they stepped out into the bright afternoon light. Turning on the camera, she played back the scene they had just filmed, watching Lucas's performance with a critical eye. Walking side by side along the bustling city street, Jennifer turned to Lucas, her expression contemplative. "It's odd. Watching you act, I can't fault your performance. Yet, something was missing. I felt it more deeply this time, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is." Lucas, feeling a sense of validation, replied with a sense of relief. "You see it too? I knew something was off. It's reassuring to hear you say that." Jennifer laughed lightly, a spark of camaraderie between them. "Well, I would hope so. I'm an actor, too, after all." As they continued their stroll, the conversation flowed easily between them. Deciding to take a break, they spotted a cozy cafe and decided it was the perfect place to sit down, relax, and delve deeper into the mystery of what Lucas's acting was missing. Seated comfortably across from each other, they were momentarily interrupted by the server's question about their coffee order. Without hesitation, both Lucas and Jennifer exclaimed, "Classic latte, please." Their simultaneous choice surprised them both, leading to a shared moment of laughter. Jennifer teased, "I didn't know you had the same taste in coffee as me." Lucas, smiling, responded, "Seems like we have more in common than I thought." Interrupting their moment, the server asked, "Classic lattes for both of you?" Lucas turned and confirmed, "Yes, please." With a nod, the server went off to place their orders. Turning back to each other, Jennifer sparked a new conversation. "So, what's your take on classic lattes?" Lucas, with a warm smile, shared, "I love them for their rich, robust espresso flavor, softened by the creamy steamed milk. It's like they're both grounded and versatile at the same time." Jennifer nodded in agreement, "Exactly. It's the same reason for me. They're strong yet gentle, very much how I like to see myself, grounded and versatile." Lucas couldn't help but laugh. "Expressing yourself as a coffee now?" Blushing slightly, Jennifer replied, "Why not? I think it fits. Grounded and versatile, right?" Lucas chuckled again, "Het." Jennifer, with a playful smile, pressed, "And what does that mean?" "Just amused," Lucas said, his smile brightening. His earlier frustrations seemed to fade away in Jennifer's company, lightening his mood significantly. Their coffees arrived shortly after, and they resumed their discussion on what Lucas's acting might be missing. Their attention was briefly diverted by a couple entering the cafe, openly displaying their affection. Initially, Lucas and Jennifer tried to ignore them, but as the couple settled next to their table, they couldn't help but observe. The unabashed display of love and desire between the two, culminating in a kiss, made both Lucas and Jennifer blush. It was then that Jennifer had an epiphany. "Lucas," she whispered excitedly, "I think I've figured out what was missing in your performance." Chapter 104, Breakthrough. Drake felt the pressure of time ticking away. They had only rented the classroom for a few hours, but Lucas was struggling to deliver the right performance, necessitating multiple takes. If they couldn't wrap up the filming within the allocated time, Drake faced the prospect of additional expenses. With Lucas having stepped out into the hallway, Drake ventured out in search of him. However, aside from a few cast and crew members, Lucas was nowhere to be found. Drake inquired, "Where's Lucas?" Charlie, who was close by, responded, "He went out with Jennifer." Drake was taken aback. Lucas going out with Jennifer? Regardless, Drake could only hope that Lucas would quickly regain his composure, allowing them to complete the filming in the classroom. At the cafe, Lucas was taken aback by Jennifer's whispered insight. "She knows exactly what's missing in my acting." He wondered silently. Curiosity piqued, he couldn't resist asking, "Oh, you do?" Jennifer nodded affirmatively, "Yes, I believe I do." Intrigued, Lucas leaned in, eyebrows raised, "Really? Could you share your thoughts with me?" With a shy mutter, Jennifer shared, "I think what you're missing is the passion and yearning for love." "I'm lacking love," Lucas echoed, visibly surprised as he gazed at Jennifer, who confirmed with a nod. Reflecting on her words, Lucas experienced a moment of clarity. His performance had elements of nervousness and joy, but his eyes lacked the depth of desire and love required for the scene. "Thank you, Jennifer, for this insight. I'll never forget it," Lucas expressed his gratitude, looking deeply at Jennifer. "Consider it a favor," Jennifer replied with a smile, sipping her classic latte. However, she hadn't stirred her coffee thoroughly, leaving a trace of foam on her lips. Lucas, noticing the foam, chuckled, "You've got a bit of foam on your lips." Embarrassed, Jennifer attempted, "Oh, here." Trying to remove it, but to no avail. Finding the moment endearingly awkward, Lucas offered a gentle hand, wiping away the foam with a touch that seemed unexpectedly intimate, causing Jennifer to blush. She hastily pushed his hand away, cleaning her lips with her forearm, and said with a shy blush, "I can manage on my own." This moment revealed a different side of Jennifer to Lucas. Previously, he saw her as strong, independent, and confident. Now, as they grew closer, he discovered her shy and charmingly awkward side, which made her all the more endearing. "Why do you look so shy? Aren't we going to film intimate scenes together in the future?" Lucas asked, his chuckle lightening the mood. Jennifer replied softly, "It's different. On set, I'm fully immersed in my role, and for the sake of the film, I can manage. So, off-camera, you're not comfortable being intimate with a CO star?" Lucas teased, still chuckling. Jennifer nodded, "Yes, it's something like that," she admitted. Yet, deep down, she felt an overwhelming shyness and her heart fluttered from Lucas's close presence. Despite their brief interaction, she felt inexplicably drawn to him but couldn't bring herself to acknowledge it, let alone act on it. "Is this really happening? We've only recently gotten to know each other, but why do I feel this way?" Jennifer wondered, her heart racing at the mere thought of being near Lucas. "All right, let's head back to set. Now that I understand what's been missing, I'm hopeful I can nail the performance," Lucas said, determined. Jennifer smiled, offering encouragement, "Good luck." As Lucas and Jennifer returned to the set, Drake, visibly anxious, hurried over to Lucas. "Lucas, you're here. Look at the time, we've only got an hour before we have to leave the classroom." Lucas acknowledged him, "All right, but give me a few minutes to get into character, will you?" Drake agreed, trying to calm down, "We still have an hour, so take a few minutes. It's only a short scene, after all." Lucas nodded in appreciation, then took a deep breath, sat at the nearby chair, preparing himself under the watchful eyes of the cast, including the fellow lead, Felicity Jones. What Lucas and the others didn't realize was that, to perfect his role, Lucas delved into the depths of his own mind, tapping into a unique skill he called the mind workshop. This technique allowed him to vividly simulate the scene he needed to enact, bringing every detail to life before his eyes. Within the confines of this mind workshop, everything he needed appeared with astonishing realism. The characters, including the students, the professor, and Anna the woman Jacob, his character, falls in love with at first sight all materialized around him. As Lucas, embodying Jacob, attempted to reenact the scene with Anna, portrayed by Felicity Jones within his mental realm, he encountered a problem. Despite Anna's flawless performance given she was a figment of his mind workshop, Lucas felt no genuine emotion. The love and desire that should have driven his character were absent, leaving his portrayal lacking in authenticity. Lucas tried to reset the scene in his mental workshop, hoping to infuse his performance with the necessary passion and desire. Although hours seemed to pass in his mental space, only minutes ticked by in the real world. Despite the urgency, Lucas struggled to convey the depth of emotion required. The absence of real love and desire made his attempt at conveying genuine fascination, desire, and subtle love fall flat. Lucas attempted to reset the scene, aiming to infuse his performance with the missing emotions. Time seemed to stretch for hours in his mind workshop, but back in reality, only minutes ticked by. Still, Lucas struggled to capture the essence of love in his portrayal. Then, a turning point came. Lucas's thoughts wandered to Jennifer. Her personality culminated warmth, strength, caring and independent, deeply resonated with him. The ease and natural connection he felt with her were unlike anything he'd experienced before. It felt real, unforced, as if they had known each other for years, despite their recent acquaintance. Reflecting on their moments together, Lucas found the depth of emotion he had been searching for. Imagining Jennifer in place of Anna, he suddenly tapped into a wellspring of genuine fascination, interest, and a subtle desire. His performance in the mind workshop was transformed, now imbued with a subtle, yet unmistakable spark of love. Upon exiting the mind workshop, Lucas was immediately confronted with the real world, where Felicity Jones stood before him, curiously asking, "Were you napping?" Chapter 105, Nailing the Scene. On the set, a blend of anticipation and apprehension filled the air as filming was set to resume, with Lucas already in character and ready to go. When Felicity caught Lucas's gaze, as if questioning whether he had been dozing off, he simply chuckled, "No, I'm just deeply getting into my character." Felicity gave Lucas a puzzled look as she made her final preparations, the moment before filming charged with energy. "All right, let's dive into filming," Drake announced, noticing Lucas getting up from his seat where he'd been momentarily seated. He eyed Lucas, signaling to him, "Ready to start, Lucas?" Lucas gave a nod, then moved to his mark. With Drake, the cast, and crew all set, Lucas sensed their cautious stares, acutely aware of the meticulous vibe he brought to the set. Lucas understood the crew's shifting perception of him, yet he was resolved to work seamlessly this time, aiming to minimize any disruption. "Okay, are we all set?" Drake lingered a bit longer on Lucas before declaring energetically, "Action." The filming restarted, this attempt following several previous ones that Lucas felt didn't meet his standards. But now, Lucas was hopeful to finally achieve the level of performance he could be satisfied with. As Felicity, portraying Anna, unfolded the narrative about the evolution of publishing, from print to the digital realms like MySpace, Lucas, in the guise of Jacob, observed her closely. The camera focused on Jacob, documents in hand, his gaze locked on Anna. The lens caught Jacob's nuanced expression, particularly his eyes, which sparkled with interest and a hint of curiosity, yet also betrayed a trace of fascination. As the cameraman, cast members, and Drake observed the unfolding scene, they were struck by a notable shift in Lucas's performance. While the change wasn't dramatic, there was a clear evolution in his approach and execution. It wasn't about being better or worse in a conventional sense, rather, Lucas's portrayal now carried a new level of nuance and depth that impressed everyone. After Anna finished her part, the professor offered his praise, then reminded everyone to submit their final assignments to Jacob. The room buzzed with the sounds of students, played by the cast, shuffling papers and murmuring to each other as they handed their work to Jacob before exiting the classroom, leaving him alone with Anna. "I don't need to give you mine because I've already done it," Anna informed Jacob, introducing an unexpected twist to their dialogue. Jacob's response, "Well, I'm okay with that," took everyone by surprise, clearly deviating from the script. It was obvious that Lucas was improvising, steering the scene in a new direction. Felicity, in character as Anna, found herself adapting to Lucas's spontaneous dialogue, keen to avoid another retake. With the scene already filmed 8 times due to Lucas's perfectionism, Felicity was determined not to be the reason for yet another. "Thank you." Anna's gratitude was heartfelt, accompanied by a smile that lingered as she looked at Jacob. However, Felicity, embodying Anna, felt a surge of surprise at the intensity of Lucas's, or rather Jacob's, gaze. The camera captured a tender moment as Jacob's eyes, locked on Anna, softened, conveying a depth of warmth and affection with a mere glance. If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way," Felicity, visibly moved by the intensity of the moment, ventured off script. "All right," Jacob simply replied, his gaze following Anna as she left the classroom. In that moment, the camera caught a glimpse of Jacob's eyes, filled with a subtle curiosity and longing, painting the picture of a young man falling in love at first sight. As the scene neared its end, Jacob's smile emerged, genuine and almost spontaneous. The director, Drake, was so captivated by Lucas's performance that he momentarily forgot to call cut. His astonishment was evident as he finally did, marking the end of the shoot. Walking over to Lucas, Drake confessed, "Watching your performance just now. I can't quite describe it, but it reminded me of how I fell in love with my ex-wife." Lucas, still deep in character, simply nodded. Drake chuckled, appreciative of the moment. "This scene turned out wonderfully. Let's take a look at the playback." Together, Lucas, Drake, and Felicity reviewed the footage from the various camera angles, each perspective offering a new insight into the scene's emotional depth. As Drake and Felicity watched Lucas's performance, they were struck by how much he had elevated the scene. It far exceeded their expectations. They had already thought Lucas's earlier takes were exceptional, but this time, he truly captured the essence of a young man falling in love at first sight. Previously, his performance had hinted at nervousness and courage, but now, there was a subtle spark of love that hadn't been there before. Drake now felt that the effort of filming 9 takes was entirely justified. Meanwhile, Felicity, witnessing Lucas's marked improvement, couldn't help but feel a pang of inadequacy. Her own performance seemed lacking in comparison, and it weighed heavily on her. However, embarrassment prevented her from voicing these concerns to Drake or asking for another take. She had noticed the crew and cast's growing impatience with Lucas's insistence on perfection, and she didn't dare add to the tension. Later, as Lucas and Drake reviewed the footage, Drake complimented him, "I think your performance was already very good. Job well done, Lucas." Lucas nodded, acknowledging the praise. "Yeah, I think I captured the essence pretty well." "You really did," Drake agreed, though inwardly, he couldn't help but feel that Felicity's brief moment, meant to convey curiosity towards Jacob, had fallen short. Nonetheless, Lucas's performance had more than compensated for any shortcomings in the scene. As they continued reviewing the scene, Jennifer joined in, gently taking the camera from Lucas's hands to get a closer look, particularly interested in Lucas's performance. Watching closely, she noted the expressions, gestures, and dialogue that effortlessly kept Anna engaged. It was clear to her that Lucas, embodying Jacob, radiated a warmth, curiosity, and fascination that mirrored the beginnings of love. Jennifer knew she should be pleased with Lucas's excellent portrayal, yet she found herself irked, her heart fluttering in irritation. Why does he look at Felicity with such eagerness, as if he's dying to get to know her? She thought, her brows knitting together in annoyance. Lucas caught the slight furrow in Jennifer's brow and asked, "What do you think? Is there something missing in my performance?" Jennifer seemed lost in thought and didn't respond until Lucas repeated his question. Snapping back to reality, she quickly reassured him, No. Your performance is spot on. I don't see anything amiss." Lucas, puzzled, remarked, "I thought you noticed something off, given your frown." "Haha, that's just how I look when I'm focusing," Jennifer fibbed, masking her true feelings. She was irked by Lucas's convincing display of affection towards another woman, yet she knew better than to voice such sentiments. Chapter 106, Yellow. Song, Yellow by Coldplay. After filming concluded in the classroom, the cast and crew swiftly exited the building, following Drake's heartfelt thanks to the individual who had provided the space. The next scene marked a significant departure from the original script and setting envisioned by Drake and Ben, the film's screenwriter. Set in a bar, the scene spotlighted Lucas, portraying Jacob, poised to deliver a performance on stage. This represented a notable shift from Jacob's initial portrayal as a carpenter and furniture designer. Instead, Lucas and Drake decided to reimagine Jacob with a newfound passion for music. This adjustment had been contemplated by Drake, who recognized Lucas's musical talents, highlighted by his contributions to the soundtrack of 127 Hours and his performance in the TV series Modern Family. Therefore, Drake and Ben were confident in the decision to transform Jacob into a bar performer and music enthusiast, seeing no issue with this creative pivot. At the bar, Felicity, portraying Anna, watched Jacob's performance unfold before her, her curiosity piqued by the moment. The camera focused intently on Jacob, navigating through the crowded, lively space of the bar. Given the indie nature of their film project and its modest budget, they lacked the authority to manage the patrons who were genuinely enjoying their evening, adding a layer of authenticity to the scene. In this vibrant atmosphere, the patrons, not merely extras but real people reveling in the bar, took notice of Lucas, embodying the character of Jacob. From a distance, Jennifer and the rest of the cast observed Lucas's performance, captured by a cameraman wielding a Canon EOS 7D. Charlie, actively involved in the film despite his scene not yet being shot, approached Jennifer with keen interest. Drake mentioned Lucas would be performing an original piece. "I'm quite eager to hear it," he confessed. Jennifer simply nodded in agreement. "I've heard Lucas's composition for 127 Hours, he's good." "Oh? I haven't had the pleasure yet, but now I'm even more intrigued," Charlie admitted, somewhat skeptical yet curious about Lucas's musical prowess. As the band, hired for the production, began playing the opening notes crafted by Lucas, his gaze seemed to naturally find Felicity's Anna. Their eyes met, a moment captured by the cameras, just as Lucas, or Jacob, began to sing with his eyes still fixed on Anna. "Look at the stars," he sang, "look how they shine for you, and everything you do." The bar, initially filled with chatter and laughter, quieted down as everyone's attention shifted to Lucas. Drake, overseeing the scene, couldn't help but smile, confident in the song's impact after hearing Lucas's brief rendition earlier. Meanwhile, Felicity, completely taken aback by the original song, was kept in the dark about it by Drake and Lucas to preserve her genuine reaction of astonishment. Nearby, Jennifer and Charlie were equally captivated by the song's opening, struck by the harmony between the band's music and Lucas's voice. Despite appreciating Lucas's performance, Jennifer felt an unexpected twinge of jealousy, noticing his attention was solely on Felicity. "Why am I feeling this way?" Jennifer pondered, troubled by her emotions. She began to question whether her feelings for Lucas were evolving beyond mere friendship and professional admiration. Lucas, in the role of Jacob, seamlessly wove his melancholy yet mesmerizing voice into the next verse. "Yeah, and they were all yellow," he continued, "I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things you do," his gaze never straying from Anna, as the band echoed the sentiment of his lyrics. "And it was called Yellow," he sang, his connection with Anna palpable as the music swelled around them. "So then I took my turn. What a thing to have done. And it was all yellow." The lyrics deeply resonated with everyone in the bar, drawing them into a shared experience. "Your skin, oh yeah, your skin and bones. Turn into something beautiful. And you know I love you so." Couples exchanged glances, moved by the profound emotions the song evoked. "You know I love you so. I swam across. I jumped across for you. Oh, what a thing to do. Because you were all yellow." The band's performance perfectly matched Lucas's delivery, enhancing the depth and emotion of the lyrics. "I drew a line. I drew a line for you. Oh, what a thing to do. And it was all yellow." The harmony between the music and Lucas's voice was entrancing, a melodious treat for all. "And your skin, oh yeah, your skin and bones. Turn into something beautiful. And you know, for you, I'd bleed myself dry. For you, I'd bleed myself dry." Lucas's voice captivated everyone, but Jennifer, standing a bit apart, gazed at Lucas, her heart beating in a way she found strangely pleasant. Yet, she couldn't help feeling a pang of sadness when she noticed Lucas's gaze wasn't on her, but rather on Felicity. Jennifer glanced at Felicity, who wasn't too far away, and saw in her eyes a mix of genuine curiosity, fascination, and a subtle hint of love. Observing this, Jennifer looked back at Lucas, only to find his gaze filled with an intensity that seemed to surpass even Felicity's. "It's true. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine." As the band's music softened towards the end, Lucas wrapped up the song with a heartfelt rendition of look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything you do. Caught up in the moment and observing the exchange of glances between Lucas and Felicity, Jennifer impulsively did something quite foolish to draw Lucas's attention, inadvertently catching the eye of the cameraman and the entire crew on site. "Wow, what a beautiful song!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the bar's noise, pleading for another song. Her voice, distinct and loud, caught Lucas's attention, making him look her way in surprise as she waved at him with a bright smile. Drake, the director, frowned at this unplanned interruption but continued filming, even choosing to include Jennifer in the scene. After the scene wrapped up, Jennifer was ready to apologize to Drake for her disruption, fearing she had spoiled the take. However, Drake simply sighed and reassured her, "No, it's all right. I understand the song moved you, I can't blame you for that. Actually, your spontaneity worked in our favor, bringing you into the film much sooner than we planned." When Lucas took a break from the crowd clamoring for more songs, he joined the cast and crew in a private room within the bar. There, he was taken aback to learn that the film's direction had shifted, with Jennifer's early introduction into the scene now part of the plan. Drake, upon reviewing the footage, decided Jennifer's early appearance wasn't an issue. In fact, it provided a better narrative for how Jacob and Sam's relationship unfolded, offering a clearer insight into Sam's feelings for Jacob, unlike the original script that left their connection somewhat unexplained. Chapter 107, The Cast's Development. As the filming of Like Crazy progressed, with Jennifer Lawrence portraying Samantha, an early introduction to the film, Felicity Jones, who played Anna, found herself increasingly drawn to Lucas. The song Lucas had just performed captured her heart completely. It was as if he had, through his compelling acting and musical talent, stolen her heart right out of her chest. She found herself wanting to know more about him beyond the confines of the film project. Felicity, however, kept her growing affection under wraps. The production went on, and in a pivotal scene, her character, Anna, confesses her love for Lucas's character, Jacob, through a heartfelt letter. She discreetly leaves it on Lucas's motorbike, parked outside the bar where he works, with Jacob written on the envelope. The sincerity of Anna's letter, penned by Felicity, was undeniable. Drake, the director, had decided to leave the love letters in the hands of the cast members to add a touch of realism. When Lucas, as Jacob, finally reads the letter, his reaction is one of mild surprise mixed with amusement, evidenced by a soft chuckle. "I've seen your incredible acting, and it blew me away far beyond what I expected. You're truly one of the most talented actors I've come across. And it's not just your acting, your singing and musical abilities are just as admirable. That song you performed at the bar, it made me fall for you, like crazy." The camera caught glimpses of the letter, but Felicity's curvy handwriting made it hard to read clearly. As Lucas turned the page, he read, "You might think I'm crazy, but..." It appeared the letter was more from Felicity herself than her character, Anna. Lucas couldn't help but chuckle at Felicity's boldness in writing such words, though he doubted she had truly fallen for him. He thought she probably wrote the letter that way to add authenticity to the scene. And it worked, he chuckled genuinely, a moment both the camera and Drake felt deeply. Once filming wrapped up, Lucas and Felicity shared a glance and a smile. Jennifer, observing their exchange from a short distance, walked over to Lucas and curiously asked, "Can I see what's written in that letter?" Lucas, with a smile, gently refused, "No, it's kind of private," before tucking the letter away. "Private, hey?" Jennifer mused, a mix of jealousy and curiosity stirring within her. She had tried to sneak a peek at the letter during playback on the camera, but Felicity's intricate, curvy handwriting, coupled with the dim lighting, made it difficult. However, Jennifer managed to catch bits and pieces, enough to understand Felicity's admiration for Lucas's singing and musical talent, and her declaration of falling for him like crazy, a clever nod to the name of their film project. Then, she noticed Lucas and Felicity deep in conversation. "I read your letter. You're quite something, aren't you? Writing it like that?" Lucas said, his voice filled with amusement. "Why not? It adds a touch of reality to our scene, doesn't it?" Felicity replied, her smile hiding the turmoil inside. The truth was, making the scene more authentic was just an excuse to mask her budding feelings for Lucas. It was a small, delicate flame of affection, not strong enough for a grand confession but significant enough to cause inner conflict. Felicity convinced herself that these feelings were fleeting, that they would fade with the conclusion of the film project. She was determined to keep her emotions in check until then, hoping that distance would eventually extinguish her fondness for Lucas. The sooner they wrapped up filming, she hoped, the quicker she could distance herself from Lucas and let her feelings dissipate. While Lucas and Felicity discussed their roles, Jennifer watched them from a distance, and Charlie, also on set, took note but remained silent. Charlie began to notice a shift among the crew members who had initially kept their distance from Lucas. They were starting to warm up to him, perhaps because, aside from a hiccup during the classroom scene, the filming had been progressing smoothly. This change was particularly noticeable with the female cast members like Felicity and Jennifer. Charlie couldn't pinpoint why, but their looks toward Lucas made him feel uneasy. Next up, we've got the scene where Jacob calls Anna, followed by their meeting at the cafe. After that, we'll shoot Jacob visiting Anna's apartment late at night to add context to their whispered conversation, Drake briefed the cast and crew. The shoot moved forward to the scene where Jacob calls Anna, setting the stage for their intimate cafe rendezvous. Were you scared? Anna queried, her eyes searching Jacob's face for truth. He simply smiled and shook his head, indicating no. I suppose you wouldn't be here if it had scared you, Anna said, her smile genuine, her gaze locked onto his with deep affection. Jacob returned her smile. No, it was actually quite nice, and unexpectedly amusing, he confessed. And just so you know, I don't think you're crazy. Not in the slightest. I thought it was important to clarify that, just in case. The filming went on, capturing a scene where Jacob and Anna were walking down the street together. Since their characters had only just met, there was a noticeable distance between them, a contrast to the closeness they would portray in scenes shot later on. That evening, the crew headed to the modest apartment shared by Drake and Ben, which also doubled as Anna's apartment in the film. To keep production costs low, they decided to use Drake and Ben's temporary rental for the shoot. Meanwhile, Lucas realized Jennifer wasn't on set. He felt a twinge of disappointment, although he understood her absence, her presence wasn't required for these particular scenes. Lucas also noted that Charlie wasn't there to observe the day's filming, but he didn't dwell on it much. Chapter 108, Flirty Scene. In the cramped apartment, Lucas, playing the role of Jacob, entered alongside Felicity, who was portraying Anna. Let's keep our voices down. I don't want to wake my roommate, she's already sleeping, Anna whispered to Jacob, her breath warm against his ear. This whispered intimacy drew a soft laugh from Jacob, who leaned in to whisper in her ear, then we'll have to be extra quiet, so we don't disturb her. The camera captured the moment, zooming in on Felicity, as Anna, her cheeks blushing a deep red. From his vantage point, Drake observed the scene unfold, noting the undeniable chemistry between Jacob and Anna. Their flirtation, both convincing and seemingly authentic, added depth to the scene, surpassing Drake's original expectations. Then, Jacob and Anna shared a drink, their glasses chiming softly in a toast. Their gaze remained locked on each other as they sipped their drinks. It's strong. Lucas, in character as Jacob, exclaimed, a genuine reaction that didn't go unnoticed by Felicity, Drake, and the rest of the crew. It was clear from Lucas's expression that he wasn't accustomed to drinking. Do you not drink much? Anna asked, her smile teasing. Jacob returned the smile and admitted, you're right. How can that be, considering you work as a performer at a bar? Don't patrons often offer you drinks? Anna asked, her expression a mix of genuine confusion and curiosity. Haha, just because I work in a bar and love motorbikes doesn't mean I need to drink all the time, Jacob replied with a light-hearted smile. Then, Jacob's gaze drifted to a desk nearby. Is this where you do your writing? He had come to know Anna's passion for writing during their time together. Yeah, Anna nodded. Could I take a look at your work? You enjoy writing, don't you? Jacob inquired. At this, Anna seemed a bit shy. I'm a little, well, embarrassed to have someone read my work. Jacob laughed gently, encouraging her, come on, let me see. It might even inspire the next song I'm writing. At the mention of a new song, Anna's interest was visibly piqued. You're writing another original song? Jacob nodded with a chuckle, yeah, for you. After Jacob's declaration, a moment of awkward silence fell over the room, with Anna blushing deeply as she sat on the bed. Jacob's gaze locked onto Anna's, capturing a moment charged with unspoken emotions. Drake, caught up in the excitement, directed the cameraman to zoom in, aiming for a shot that was both intimate and distant enough to let the audience feel the romantic tension between Jacob and Anna. I feel really inspired to write a song when I'm with you. It's a strange and surreal feeling that I've only felt today, while spending time with you, Jacob said. Despite a bit of stuttering towards the start, he conveyed his feelings clearly. Touched by his words, Anna replied, "All right, I'll let you see what I've recently written." "Oh? Let's hear it," Jacob said with an encouraging smile. "You're not allowed to laugh, okay?" Anna cautioned as she retrieved her work. Jacob chuckled softly as he settled onto the bed, nodding in agreement. "All right, I won't laugh." "I've never read it out loud before," Anna admitted, looking at Jacob. "So, you'll be the first one to hear it." Jacob responded with a supportive smile, nodding in anticipation. "Really, you want to hear it?" Anna asked, her voice tinged with a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. Jacob responded with a decisive nod, prompting a gentle laugh from Anna before she began to read. "I thought I understood it," she shared, her voice soft yet clear. "That I couldn't grasp it, but I didn't," she continued, delving deeper into her reflections. "Not really. Just the smudgeness of it. The pink-slippered, all-encompassing, semi-precious eagerness of it. I didn't realize it could sometimes be more than whole. That the idea of wholeness was actually quite luxurious." Jacob, fully engrossed, listened as Anna revealed, "Because it's the halves that have you in half." She went on, "Didn't know. Don't know about the in-between bits." With a hint of discovery in her voice, she added, "The gory bits of you and gory bits of me. I like the halves that have you in half." When she finished, Jacob's face was a picture of amused restraint, as if he was on the verge of laughter. "Like the halves that have you in half," he echoed, his smile breaking through despite his efforts. Anna, catching his reaction, couldn't help but let out a soft laugh. "It's a bit childish, isn't it?" "No," Jacob quickly countered, his voice firm and reassuring. "No." Drake thought the scene was wrapping up, but it unexpectedly veered off script. Felicity, in character as Anna, started writing in her notebook before passing it to Lucas, who was playing Jacob. Lucas took the notebook and pen, noticing the words "I thank you" adorned with a heart at the end. He then wrote his own message, "No problem, princess. But I'd prefer a kiss as a thank you." After jotting this down, he handed the notebook back to Anna. Felicity, upon reading Lucas's playful written response, couldn't suppress a soft laugh. Drake and the cameraman were puzzled by her laughter, especially since the camera hadn't caught Lucas's written response, only Felicity's. Additionally, Felicity cleverly shielded the notebook's contents from the camera as she chuckled, with Lucas simply smiling alongside. "Cut!" Drake called out, marking the end of the scene. Curious, he approached the actors. "What did Lucas write that got you laughing?" he inquired. Felicity chuckled, downplaying the exchange. "It was nothing much. Just playing along with the scene." "He didn't write anything," she said, choosing to keep their little exchange private. Drake glanced between Lucas and Felicity. Though his curiosity was piqued, he didn't press further. The day's filming was nearly complete, and it was time to wrap up. The scene closed with Anna and Jacob saying their goodbyes for the night. At the glass door, their lingering glances spoke volumes, hinting at a deeper connection they wished to explore. Despite the pull between them, they knew it wasn't possible to act on it. With a final bye from Jacob and a wave from Anna, Jacob left, leaving Anna watching his back and departure. With that, the day's filming came to a close. Chapter 109, Creative Improvisation. The filming of Like Crazy proceeded without a hitch, building on the momentum from yesterday's successful shoot. With Lucas stepping into the shoes of Jacob and Felicity embodying Anna, the production pressed on, capturing moments of the pair reveling in each other's company. Their journey unfolded across a variety of picturesque settings, a serene park, a lively amusement park, the tranquil beach. Together, they ran, laughed, and gradually peeled back the layers of their characters' budding relationship. Their connection deepened to such an extent that during a scene on the beach, with their faces inches apart, they could sense the warmth of each other's breath. Off-camera, Jennifer watched the growing bond between Lucas and Felicity with a mix of emotions, feeling a pang in her heart as she observed their chemistry. By the afternoon, even as they took a break, Lucas and Felicity remained in character, sitting close and playfully touching each other's feet, lost in their own world. The day's filming eventually moved to a tender moment where Jacob and Anna shared a heartfelt hug, encapsulating the depth of their newfound intimacy. The next scene captured Jacob and Anna dancing whimsically through the streets, completely engrossed in their joy, oblivious to the world around them. Pedestrians in Los Angeles stole brief glances at the carefree couple before going about their day, a testament to the city's ever-moving pulse. Later, Jacob and Anna picked out souvenirs, a memento for Anna's eventual return to the UK, imbuing their time together with tangible memories. As the scenes unfolded, Jennifer watched from the sidelines, a silent observer amidst the day's activities. With the night's shoot wrapped up, Lucas turned to Felicity, saying, "See you tomorrow for more filming." "Yeah, see you tomorrow," Felicity responded with a nod, her voice carrying a mix of fatigue and anticipation. Lucas then made his way to Jennifer, who had been a constant presence on set, involved yet somewhat detached. "See you again tomorrow, Jennifer," he greeted her. Jennifer offered a nod, her response nonverbal but acknowledging, before she continued on her way. Watching Jennifer walk away, Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Her demeanor towards him had subtly shifted, leaving him to ponder the unspoken tension between them. Lucas brushed aside the nagging thoughts. What he needed was rest. After a long day of shooting with the crew and Felicity, he had earned his downtime. Once back in his hotel room, he fell into a deep sleep, peaceful and uninterrupted, waking up refreshed early the next morning. As daylight broke, the filming picked back up, focusing on Felicity's portrayal of Anna, whose storyline took a new turn with her parents visiting from the UK to see her in Los Angeles. Lucas, embodying Jacob, found himself meeting Anna's parents, who were naturally curious about their daughter's recent beau. Anna's mother was particularly inquisitive, probing Jacob about his opinions of her daughter. Jacob responded with generous praise for Anna, yet couldn't resist playfully teasing her, hinting at their intimate relationship in a way that made Anna gently nudge him in mock frustration. The warmth and jest between Jacob and Anna were clear indicators of their close bond, leaving Anna's parents visibly relieved and wearing smiles that spoke volumes of their approval. Amidst the scene, Anna's father delved into Jacob's career choices, prompting Jacob to reveal his profession as a bar singer. This revelation elicited a brief frown from Anna's father, a reaction that was not scripted. Observing this, Drake immediately called out, "Cut!" He turned to Oliver Muirhead, the seasoned actor behind Bernard, Anna's father, puzzled. "Mr. Oliver, that frown wasn't in the script. Was it improvised?" Oliver responded with a knowing nod, "Indeed, it wasn't planned. But let's be honest, any parent would have a moment of concern if their daughter was involved with someone whose future seems uncertain, right?" This comment gave Drake pause for thought. Before he could respond, Lucas chimed in, surprising everyone. "He's right, Drake. I fully support Mr. Oliver's perspective." Having Anna's father show a hint of disapproval adds a layer of realism to Jacob and Anna's relationship. It makes it more relatable. We can fine-tune the scene to avoid clichés, ensuring it doesn't come off as overly judgmental. Drake, along with Ben, the CO writer, and other key crew members, found themselves nodding in agreement, seeing the value in Lucas's suggestion. In the meantime, Jennifer and Charlie, who had been closely watching the day's shoot, were drawn into the conversation. As part of the film's team, their input was welcomed, especially now as the script began to evolve with these spontaneous moments of improvisation. Jennifer, in particular, felt a surge of excitement. Her role in the film, already significant, seemed poised to expand further with each day's creative adjustments. The prospect of more screen time, especially alongside Lucas, added an exhilarating edge to her anticipation for the upcoming scenes. Jennifer had been quietly harboring feelings of jealousy as she watched Felicity and Lucas grow closer, a sentiment that became increasingly hard to ignore. Resolved to turn her silent envy into motivation, she decided that her upcoming scenes with Lucas were the perfect opportunity to shine. Determined to deliver her best performance yet, Jennifer aimed not only to captivate the audience but also to leave a lasting impression on Lucas's heart through the sheer force of her acting prowess. Chapter 110, Jacob's Present. Say You Won't Let Go, by James Arthur. The scene came to a close, and the cast members gathered to review the footage. After shooting several takes, they finally captured one that pleased both the actors and the director, marking the end of filming at the restaurant. Despite the progress, the day was still young. With the upcoming scene of Jacob and Anna saying goodbye to her parents set for a nighttime backdrop, and plenty of daylight remaining, the production team decided to move ahead. They filmed a more intimate scene between Jacob and Anna in bed, efficiently using their time. In a cozy apartment, the next scene unfolded with the film crew, including Drake, Jennifer, Charlie, and other key members, attentively watching. The scene portrayed a tender moment between Jacob and Anna in her small apartment. Jacob was about to give Anna a heartfelt surprise, a memory to cherish before her departure to the UK. "Close your eyes," Jacob instructed Anna, who playfully questioned, "Why?" "Just trust me," Jacob gently insisted. With a soft chuckle, Anna obliged, closing her eyes. Jacob covered her eyes with his hand and whispered, "Count to 60. Giggling, Anna began, 58 Mississippi, 57 Mississippi, 56 Mississippi. As she counted, Jacob retrieved his guitar, positioning himself on a chair in front of her. When Anna reached the end of her count and opened her eyes, she was greeted by the sight of Jacob, guitar in hand, ready to surprise her. "Where's my surprise?" Anna asked, a hint of laughter in her voice. Jacob simply smiled and began to strum the guitar, the melody unfolding into "Say You Won't Let Go," a song that held special meaning for Lucas, and he chose the song because it fits the situation the couple was about to go through. As Anna prepared for her journey to the UK, this moment underscored the beginning of their long-distance relationship, the song leaving a lasting memory in her heart. Anna's reaction was one of sheer astonishment, her eyes widening as she recognized the melody. It was the song Jacob had been crafting just for her. Lucas, in the role of Jacob, began to sing, his voice beautifully blending with the guitar's melody. "I met you in the dark, you lit me up. You made me feel as though I was enough." His voice carried the lyrics with an emotion that resonated deeply, reflecting moments they had shared. "We danced the night away, we drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up." Anna's gaze softened, fixated on Jacob. Memories flooded back of the time they spent sipping whiskey together, the previous day's filming that captured them dancing, and those intimate snapshots of moments shared over drinks. "Then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute, I was stone cold sober. I pulled you closer to my chest. And you asked me to stay over. I said, I already told you. I think that you should get some rest, comma." Drake and the other cast members, including Charlie, were visibly impressed. They speculated that once the film was complete, the standout moments would likely include the scenes of Jacob performing Lucas's original song. "I knew I loved you then. But you'd never know. 'Cause I played it cool when I was scared of letting go. I know I needed you. But I never showed. But I wanna stay with you until we're grey and old. Just say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go." Jennifer watched Lucas intently, her gaze filled with a hint of longing. She recalled their time spent together in a cafe, where she had helped him delve deeper into his role. Since then, their interactions had dwindled, leaving Jennifer with an unspoken yearning. Unbeknownst to her, her eyes betrayed her feelings, a longing clear for anyone to see. However, in that moment, everyone's attention was captivated by Lucas's performance, the lyrics of his song filling the room and holding them spellbound. "I'll wake you up with some breakfast in bed. I'll bring you coffee with a kiss on your head. And I'll take the kids to school. Wave them goodbye. And I'll thank my lucky stars for that night." The lyrics poignantly express Jacob's dreams of a future together with Anna, surrounded by their children. Felicity, in her portrayal of Anna, couldn't hide a bittersweet smile. Deep down, she understood that despite their deep connection, Jacob and Anna were not destined to end up together. "When you looked over your shoulder. For a minute, I forget that I'm older. I wanna dance with you right now. Oh, and you look as beautiful as ever. And I swear that every day you'll get better. You make me feel this way somehow." Jacob's gaze met Anna's with an intensity that was both profound and passionate, their eyes locked in a moment of deep connection. "I'm so in love with you. And I hope you know. Darling, your love is more than worth its weight in gold. We've come so far, my dear. Look how we've grown. And I wanna stay with you until we're grey and old. Just say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go." As Jacob continued to sing, pouring emotion into every note, Felicity Jones, embodying Anna, was caught up in the moment. A single tear, born from the song's raw emotional power, escaped her control, tracing a path down her right cheek. Under Drake's direction, the camera operators skillfully captured this poignant moment, zooming in to frame the raw emotion on Anna's face. "I wanna live with you. Even when we're ghosts. 'Cause you were always there for me when I needed you most." Jacob's eyes were on Anna's tears, he momentarily stopped playing the guitar and wiped the tears that gradually rolled down Anna's cheeks. "I'm gonna love you till my lungs give out. I promise till death we part like in our vows. So I wrote this song for you, now everybody knows that it's just you and me till we're grey and old, just say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go. And as Jacob caught sight of Anna's smile, he couldn't resist singing on, just say you won't let go, oh, just say you won't let go. Meanwhile, Jacob played on, his guitar strumming accompanying his tender gaze towards Anna, marked by a small, heartfelt smile. Chapter 111, Intense and Hot Scenes. As the final notes of Lucas's song, performed with the soulful depth of Jacob, faded into silence, Jacob turned to gaze deeply into Felicity's eyes, who was embodying Anna with every fiber of her being. In a moment charged with unscripted emotion, Anna's words tumbled out with a fervent intensity. I am so in love with you. She confessed, her voice echoing in the stillness, as she reached for Jacob, who was still cradling his guitar. Jacob responded with a soft, affectionate laugh, the sound a gentle caress in the charged atmosphere. Hey, it seems you couldn't resist my charm any longer, hey. Jacob teased, his laughter mingling with the warmth in his eyes. You're right, I couldn't resist your charm any longer, especially after that incredible song. Anna replied, her chuckle rich with genuine affection. The scene unfolding between them was entirely unscripted, a spontaneous burst of genuine emotion that transcended the boundaries of their performance. Then, under the attentive gaze of director Drake, the crew and their fellow cast members, Felicity, as Anna, pressed her lips to Lucas's in a kiss that was both tender and bold. Lucas, embodying Jacob, found himself momentarily overwhelmed, the guitar slipping from his grasp to land with a soft thud on the ground. The sound momentarily drew their attention away from the intensity of their kiss, but only for a brief moment before they were drawn back into their shared connection, with Anna leading the way with renewed passion. Lucas and Felicity were so lost in their roles, so immersed in the reality of their characters' emotions, that they seemed oblivious to the crew and cast members who watched on, a mix of emotions playing across their faces, most prominently a collective blush at the intimacy they were witnessing. Jennifer, witnessing the scene, found herself unable to contain her emotions, her hands balling into fists as she watched the scene unfold before her. The complexity of the emotions on set, the intertwining of fiction and reality, created a moment that was palpably real and intensely memorable for everyone involved. She found herself tangled in a whirlwind of thoughts, pondering, could that have been Lucas's first kiss? And with Felicity of all people. As these musings danced through her mind, she was barely able to restrain herself from rushing over to pull the two apart. Meanwhile, Lucas was taken aback by Felicity's bold move, her tongue-seeking entrance. Despite his surprise, he couldn't help but wonder, is this really necessary? I'm pretty sure this wasn't in the script for the kissing scene. Yet, even as he questioned it, there was something endearingly earnest about Felicity's approach that Lucas found quite charming. Feeling the insistent press of Felicity's tongue, Lucas found himself capitulating, allowing her the exploration she sought. It seemed impossible to deny her this intimate curiosity. As the kiss stretched on for what seemed like an eternity to the onlookers, Drake and the rest of the crew began to sense that something had veered off script. Finally, with a sense of urgency, Drake called out, "Cut!" Lucas and Felicity parted, much to Felicity's chagrin. She had been just on the cusp of delving deeper into the moment, exploring Lucas more fully, but the abrupt end left her hanging, a tinge of dissatisfaction lingering. On the sidelines, Charlie, having witnessed the charged scene, couldn't hide his envy. Imagining himself in Lucas's place, he fantasized about a more passionate engagement with Felicity. Jennifer, on the other hand, breathed a sigh of relief at the interruption, glad to see the intense scene come to an end. All right, that scene was far more intense than we initially envisioned, but I believe it adds an unexpected depth and texture to the portrayal of our lovers' bond in this film, Drake commented, a chuckle escaping him. He was pleasantly surprised to see the film's direction evolving in ways far surpassing his original expectations. As the moment passed, the crew and cast gathered to deliberate on the upcoming scenes, the air buzzing with the aftermath of an unexpectedly fervent display of on-screen chemistry. The subsequent scene was set to depict Lucas and Felicity in a state of partial undress, symbolizing the aftermath of Jacob and Anna's intimate conversation that culminated in physical closeness. The setup involved the pair being modestly covered by a blanket, with strategically placed openings allowing the camera to capture their interactions without compromising their privacy. Given the delicate nature of this scene, only essential crew members and actors required for these specific moments remained on set, ensuring a respectful and professional environment for filming. This left Jennifer, Charlie, and a select few others in attendance, while the rest of the team discreetly exited the stage. Lucas and Felicity prepared for the scene by removing their upper garments, leaving them in minimal clothing to suggest the intimacy of the moment. Charlie watched intently, his gaze lingering on Felicity as she covered herself, and then both actors positioned themselves under the blanket on the bed, ready for the scene to unfold. With Drake's direction, the scene began, focusing initially on the tender, intimate contact of their feet beneath the blanket. "What are we going to do after we graduate?" Lucas, embodying Jacob, inquired, his face captured by the camera in a close-up shot. "We'll sort something out." Felicity, as Anna, replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The camera shifted to her face as she continued, "Don't think about it now," her hand gently caressing Jacob's face and cheeks. Anna's hand continued its tender exploration, brushing against Jacob's face, chest, and eventually his lips, adding a layer of intimacy to their conversation. "It seems you're not satisfied with our previous rounds, huh?" Jacob teased, a chuckle escaping him as he felt Anna's touch grow more insistent. Anna responded with a soft laugh, her hand wandering to his chest. Caught up in the authenticity of their roles, Lucas, as Jacob, instinctively wrapped an arm around Anna's waist and ventured to touch her chest, prompting a surprised reaction from the crew. Drake, monitoring the scene through the camera, braced for Felicity's response, half expecting a rebuke. However, Felicity, fully immersed in her role as Anna, reciprocated with a playful squeeze and exploration of Lucas's chest, a mirror to his actions. This unexpected exchange, rooted in their deep engagement with their characters, added an unscripted depth to the scene, blurring the lines between performance and genuine connection. Chapter 112, Separation and filming progressed. The production of Like Crazy unfolded with a flurry of emotionally charged scenes, capturing the passionate and intimate moments shared between Lucas and Felicity's characters. As the days progressed, the narrative reached a poignant juncture where Felicity, embodying Anna, was poised to say a heartfelt goodbye to Lucas's Jacob. In a turn of events fueled by love and the harsh realities of immigration laws, Anna, who had overstayed her welcome in Los Angeles out of love for Jacob, found herself in the grips of the authorities. This led to a desperate and brief phone call to Jacob, spurring him into action as he raced to the airport, hoping to find Anna. Upon his arrival, the stark realization that Anna was nowhere to be found left him in a state of helplessness, sitting amidst the hustle and bustle of the airport with a look of utter bewilderment. As the filming progressed, a narrative time lapse occurred, indicating that several months had passed since Jacob and Anna's separation. This aspect of the story remained somewhat nebulous, even to Lucas and the rest of the cast. Despite Lucas's attempts to glean more details from Drake, the director, he was simply informed that some time had elapsed, underscoring the uncertainty of the lovers' future. In the unfolding narrative, Jacob's life progresses as he continues his work as a bar performer. This backdrop allows Lucas, embodying Jacob, to forge genuine connections with the band at the bar. Captivated by Lucas's charisma, the musicians willingly join the film project without expecting financial reward. Furthermore, the bar's manager generously permits the film crew to use the venue for shooting, offering Lucas unrestricted access to the stage for his performances. Simultaneously, the script takes Anna, portrayed by Felicity, on a journey to the UK. There, amidst the backdrop of quaint pubs and new friendships, notably with Charlie's character, Simon, she seeks comfort in camaraderie and the occasional escape of drinking. Before delving into the prolonged separation of Jacob and Anna that depict months, the story plans to explore Jacob's growing friendship with Jennifer's character, Sam. This subplot introduces a new dimension to the intricate web of relationships and emotions that weave through the film. The burgeoning bond between Jacob and Sam not only underscores their personal development but also reflects the complex nature of love, the pain of parting, and the serendipitous connections that emerge in the interlude. This carefully crafted narrative arc promises to enrich the storyline, offering a poignant look at the characters' journeys as they navigate the bittersweet realities of life and love. The scene where Jacob and Sam were set to meet for the first time was buzzing with anticipation. Jennifer, who was to embody Sam, had been eagerly awaiting this moment for days. The chance to finally share the screen with Lucas was an opportunity she had been looking forward to with an excitement she could hardly contain. Slipping seamlessly into her role, Jennifer transformed into Sam, ready to bring the character to life with authenticity and depth. Lucas, portraying Jacob, encountered Sam at the bar. The scripted encounter began with Sam expressing her admiration for Jacob's music, complimenting him on his talent. "It's so great to see you, Jacob. I've always been a fan of your songs, they're fantastic," she said with genuine enthusiasm. Jacob responded with a modest smile, appreciative of the compliment. "Thanks. It's heartening to know people enjoy what I create," he replied, his gratitude evident. The conversation took a playful turn when Sam, or rather Jennifer, letting her personal curiosity seep through, lightly teased Jacob about his relative obscurity despite his evident talent. "I always wonder how you can create such beautiful music without being as famous as other artists, still working in this bar," she joked, veering off script with a touch of humor. Jacob, unfazed and with a laugh, shared his perspective on fame. "Haha, as an artist, I'm less concerned with fame. I believe it'll come in time if more people get to hear my music," he said, his smile genuine and infectious, momentarily drawing Jennifer out of character, captivated by his charm. Realizing her lapse, Jennifer quickly refocused on her role, steering the conversation towards the inspiration behind Jacob's music. "Your songs, they're so romantic. Are they inspired by personal experiences in love?" she inquired, curiosity laced in her voice. Jacob's laughter filled the air, light-hearted yet poignant. "You're right. My music, it's deeply inspired by the woman I hold dear, the one I continue to love." The camera, ever observant, didn't miss the flicker of jealousy that danced in Sam's eyes upon hearing this. "A woman, hey? Was it that woman you used to spend time with at the bar a few weeks back?" Sam inquired, her curiosity tinged with a solemn undertone. "Oh, you must have seen Anna before," Jacob remarked with a smile, recognizing the description. "Oh? Anna was her name." As Jacob confirmed with a nod, Sam continued, a hint of disappointment creeping into her voice, "I haven't seen her around the bar lately." "Did you two break up?" Her question carried an undercurrent of hope, though she tried to mask it. Jacob noticed the subtlety in her tone but chose to gently steer the conversation away. "No, not at all. We're just separated for complicated reasons," he explained with a sigh, leaving Sam visibly disheartened. As the scene wrapped up, Jacob and Sam's bond appeared to deepen, setting the stage for their growing closeness in the narrative. In the ensuing months depicted in the film, Jacob found himself increasingly anxious due to Anna's silence, despite his attempts to reach out. This emotional void brought him closer to Sam, who became his comfort and support in Anna's absence. There was even a poignant moment captured on film where Sam secretly wished for Anna not to return, longing for Jacob to be hers alone. This twist in the story gave Sam a doorway into Jacob's heart, which slowly began to open to her. Meanwhile, the storyline shifted to Anna's perspective, showing her descent into loneliness, marked by drinking and a new closeness with a male friend named Simon. This narrative divergence highlighted the growing chasm between Jacob and Anna, despite a heart-wrenching scene where Anna is seen crying, overwhelmed by memories of Jacob's songs, his face, and his presence. These scenes, filmed over a week and a few days, delicately balanced the dynamics between Jacob and Sam's friendship, which remained respectful, and Anna's increasingly complicated relationship with Simon. The direction of these scenes, collaboratively shaped by the cast and key crew members, hinted at a controversial aftermath for Felicity's character, Anna, once the film was completed and edited. This development promised to spark discussions and possibly criticism, reflecting the complex emotional landscapes explored in the storyline. Chapter 113, Jennifer's Initiative. In the warm, inviting glow of the bar, Lucas and Jennifer, embodying their characters Jacob and Sam respectively, were deeply immersed in their roles as the cameras rolled on. The story unfurled around Jacob, who, after being inexplicably ignored by Anna for months, found solace in Sam's company. For Sam, being close to Jacob was a source of joy. She harbored deep feelings for him, but it seemed that Jacob was hesitant to consider anything more than friendship between them. This realization was a bitter pill for Sam, yet Jennifer's skillful portrayal made it clear that Sam cherished every moment spent with Jacob, basking in his company. As Jacob and Sam's friendship relationship deepened, Jennifer, portraying Sam, found herself becoming an integral part of the band alongside Lucas's character, Jacob. It was revealed that Sam had a talent for playing the guitar, allowing her to seamlessly blend into the musical group. This development not only showcased her skills but also brought her closer to Jacob, adding another layer to their growing connection. Just when it seemed like things were looking up from Sam's point of view, the unexpected happened. Jacob received a message from Anna, his girlfriend, who had been silent for so long. Jacob shared the news with Sam, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Anna contacted me after all these months. I can't believe it." "Really? That's great," Sam managed to say, her voice betraying a hint of nonchalance. Jacob, catching a glimpse of Sam's true feelings, teased her with a warm smile. "You don't seem too thrilled, Sam." "What? No, I'm really happy for you, Sam replied, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Jacob laughed softly, sensing the tension. I'm just teasing you. Then, he dropped a bombshell. I've booked a flight to the UK, to England. Sam, initially taken aback, felt a wave of sadness wash over her as Jacob mentioned his plans to visit Anna. Her disappointment was palpable, a silent testament to her unspoken feelings for him. The camera captured every nuance of Sam's expression before the scene came to a close. The filming in Los Angeles featuring Lucas as Jacob will briefly pause, as the crew prepares to shift their focus to England for the next phase of shooting alongside Felicity. This transition marks a significant moment in the production, seamlessly moving from one dynamic backdrop to another to continue weaving the story's narrative. To manage expenses more effectively, the decision was made to keep some of the crew members in Los Angeles, selecting only a core team to accompany Lucas, Felicity, Doremus, and the actors portraying Anna's parents to England. This select group will include 7 essential crew members, like cameramen, along with a few others critical to the filming process. This move comes even in light of Lucas investing additional funds into the project. It's a strategic choice, aimed at ensuring that every dollar spent adds the greatest value to the film, balancing the creative ambitions with the practical realities of movie making. The filming process in England presented a unique set of challenges, necessitating a strategic approach to capture the more complex scenes. To optimize budget and logistics, the decision was made to film all the necessary scenes in England in one go. This approach was particularly clever considering the storyline required Jacob, Lucas's character, to fly from Los Angeles to England not once, but twice. By filming these scenes in advance, the production could efficiently create the illusion of Jacob's repeated journeys without the actual need for multiple trips. This intensive filming schedule in England was expected to last about a week. Following this, the team planned to return to Los Angeles to shoot the more intense and emotionally charged scenes between Lucas's Jacob and Jennifer's Sam. In the midst of these preparations, Lucas found a moment to connect with Jennifer, sharing his admiration for her work. "Your acting is really impressive, Jennifer. It's a pleasure working alongside you." Jennifer, with a light chuckle, responded modestly, "And you as well. I often feel my performances could be better when I'm acting with you." Lucas simply smiled at her words, appreciating the mutual respect and camaraderie. Their conversation took a practical turn when Jennifer suggested, "Since we won't see each other for a week or so, why don't we make the most of our time now and rehearse our upcoming scenes?" Lucas's interest peaked as he turned to Jennifer, his expression one of mild surprise. "Oh? You want to rehearse today? I didn't realize you were so dedicated." Jennifer's cheeks tinged with a hint of red, her embarrassment visible. "What, you're not up for it?" she queried, a playful challenge in her tone. "Of course, I am. So, which scenes are we looking at?" Lucas asked, his smile encouraging. "How about these?" Jennifer suggested, her blush deepening as she handed Lucas the script, her fingers brushing against his. Lucas raised an eyebrow, genuinely taken aback. "Are we really going to practice these scenes?" he asked, his voice laced with surprise and a hint of curiosity. Jennifer, mustering her courage, shot back, "Is there an issue with that?" "No, not at all. It's just that we'll be acting them out soon anyway." "But," Lucas paused, searching Jennifer's eyes for a moment before continuing, "you mentioned feeling uneasy about getting too close to fellow actors outside of filming, didn't you?" Jennifer cleared her throat, a bit flustered but determined. "Well, it's all part of the job, right?" she reasoned, trying to justify the rehearsal as a professional necessity. Lucas observed Jennifer's shy demeanor, finding it hard to reconcile her usual reservations with her suggestion to rehearse such intimate scenes together. He was taken aback, especially since these were not just any scenes but ones of a kissing and intimate nature. "And where do you propose we rehearse?" Lucas inquired, his curiosity piqued. Avoiding his gaze, Jennifer replied softly, "I've rented a small apartment. If it's okay with you, we could practice there." Lucas studied her for a moment, gauging her comfort level. "Are you sure you're okay with this?" Jennifer met his gaze, her nod firm. "Yes, I'm completely okay with it," she affirmed, her voice steadier than before. Chapter 114, Intense Rehearsals. Around noon, in the cozy confines of Jennifer's small apartment, Lucas and Jennifer found themselves sprawled across the bed, scripts in hand. They were deep in discussion about the script's more delicate scenes, those involving kisses and moments of intimacy. Jennifer, eager to ensure they delivered a compelling performance later, proposed they rehearse these scenes together. Jacob. The truth is, I've been in love with you all this time. She confessed, her gaze locked with Lucas's, embodying her character with every fiber of her being. Lucas, embodying Jacob, hesitated, his voice tinged with disbelief. This. Are you serious? I am. Jennifer declared, her conviction unwavering as she gently grasped Lucas's shoulder. Please don't pretend you're unaware. Don't dismiss my feelings. I want you, Jacob. I want you. Please. Her embrace was tight, tears streaming down her face, a testament to her commitment to the role. Lucas, taken aback by Jennifer's intensity yet determined to match it, responded in kind. Sam. You know I have a girlfriend. My heart belongs to another. He paused, his voice deepening. Are you sure you want someone like me? There are better men out there. I don't care. Jennifer cut in, her passion undiminished. She took a breath, her eyes shining with determination. You're the one I want. Please, Jacob. Give me a chance. Caught off guard, Lucas, as Jacob, appeared visibly shaken. Then, in a moment that blurred the lines between rehearsal and reality, Jennifer leaned in, stood on her tiptoes, and their lips met, sealing their rehearsal with an unexpected kiss. In the script, Jacob was taken aback when Sam suddenly kissed him. Despite his initial resistance and the knowledge that it was wrong, Jacob, a man not immune to temptation, found himself unable to deny the pull of Sam's persistent advances and eventually reciprocated the kiss. This mirrored what happened during Lucas and Jennifer's rehearsal. Initially, Lucas pulled away, cautioning, Sam, think about this, it's not right. Please. Was all Jennifer said before she leaned in to kiss him again. At first, Lucas stayed true to his character's reluctance. However, as the scene progressed, he found himself lost in the moment, passionately returning Jennifer's kiss. What Lucas didn't realize was that Jennifer wasn't just acting. Through her character, she was expressing her genuine feelings for him, feelings that she could barely keep hidden. She seemed unwilling to break the kiss, as if she wished it could last forever. The sounds of their kissing filled the room until Jennifer took a bold step, attempting to deepen the kiss even further. This reminded Lucas of a similar experience with Felicity, marking one of the few times he had been kissed so intimately. Despite his limited experience, Lucas decided to go along with Jennifer's lead. As their embrace intensified, Jennifer's hands wandered, tracing Lucas's chest and then daringly down to his backside, adding a layer of intensity to their rehearsal. Eventually, they parted, both flushed and breathless. Lucas looked at Jennifer, only to find her averting her gaze, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. I think, that might be enough rehearsal for today, don't you think? Lucas couldn't suppress a chuckle as he spoke, the recent intensity of their scene lingering between them like an unspoken secret. What? But we've barely scratched the surface. There are more scenes we need to go over, Jennifer protested, her fingers brushing against the script as if to underscore her point. We've only just begun, and there are layers we haven't explored in some of these scenes. Her voice trailed off, tinged with a shy undertone, while Lucas looked on, surprised by her eagerness. Lucas had half expected Jennifer to want a break, especially after the emotional depth of their previous scene. Yet, it seemed he had misjudged her dedication. For the next few hours, they dove into the script, exploring scene after scene. Although none matched the fervor of their first rehearsal, each moment they shared carried an undercurrent of intimacy, a testament to their growing connection on and off the page. Eventually, Lucas said his goodbyes to a content Jennifer, stepping out into the new day with a sense of accomplishment. In the early morning, Lucas was warmly sent off by Jennifer. Accompanied by Felicity, Doremus, and a handful of crew members, they headed to the airport and boarded a flight from Los Angeles to the United Kingdom. Jennifer watched the plane carry Lucas and the others away, her gaze tinged with sadness as she recalled the tender moments they shared during yesterday's rehearsal. High above the clouds, Lucas found himself seated beside Felicity. Together, they delved into the world of their scripts, exchanging ideas and interpretations. The hours flew by as they immersed themselves in their roles, their conversation a blend of professional insight and personal anecdotes. As the plane touched down in England, the adventure continued without missing a beat. From the moment they stepped off the plane, the filming of Like Crazy commenced, drawing curious looks from passers-by. Despite Lucas and Felicity's relative anonymity in the UK, the occasional onlooker would pause, their interest piqued by the cameras and activity, before moving on with a shrug, much like a New Yorker might do amidst the hustle and bustle of their city. Meanwhile, Lucas was oblivious to the fact that 127 Hours had grossed $3.8 million at the box office, and the song Perfect had climbed the charts to become a top 70 hit. As Lucas' fame began to rise, one paparazzo, Sean, kept a close eye on him. Sean, feeling a rush of exclusivity for being the only paparazzo closely following Lucas's life, stealthily captured photos of the filming of Like Crazy, eagerly anticipating the moment his shots would stir the public's interest. Chapter 115, Different Ending. In England, the filming of Like Crazy got underway without delay, starting immediately. Initially, Lucas, portraying Jacob, warmly greeted the parents of Anna, played by Felicity. Subsequently, Anna introduced Jacob to her life in England. During a visit to a bar, Jacob remained in the background, silently watching as Anna engaged with her friends, seemingly oblivious to his presence. Later, in Anna's apartment, Jacob expressed his feelings of alienation to her. However, their conversation was interrupted when someone knocked on the door. Jacob watched as Anna cheerfully welcomed a man named Simon, portrayed by Charlie, into the apartment. Jealousy was evident in Jacob's gaze as he observed their friendly interaction. As filming progressed, the narrative unfolded with Jacob and Anna sharing intimate moments and interacting with Anna's parents, who appeared to disapprove of Jacob. It was eventually revealed that Anna's father had introduced her to Simon. Despite these challenges, Jacob and Anna's relationship flourished, and they even married. However, when they began the process for Anna to return to Los Angeles, they were frustrated to learn that her return would be a lengthy and uncertain process. Ultimately, Jacob returned to the US alone. In scenes filmed earlier, Anna is seen with Simon, who temporarily fills the void left by Jacob in her heart. Despite being married to Jacob, Anna becomes intimate with Simon. Later, after filming key scenes in advance, such as an argument between Jacob and Anna which Jacob diffuses by serenading her, the cast and crew eventually made their way back to Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Jennifer was preoccupied with other commitments. According to Drake, her agency had presented her with a new opportunity. However, the production didn't face much delay, as Jennifer rejoined the team a day later. Upon her return, Lucas greeted Jennifer warmly, "Hey, it's been over a week, how have you been?" "I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?" Jennifer replied with a smile, embracing Lucas. Lucas chuckled, "The shoot in England is complete. Now, we'll finish up here in Los Angeles. We've got some important scenes ahead, like Jacob growing closer to Sam, beyond just friendship." "I'm looking forward to it," Jennifer said with a grin. Before long, filming resumed, featuring Lucas as Jacob and Jennifer as Sam. The storyline explores Sam, a friend and bandmate of Jacob's, who confesses her feelings for him. Fresh from England, Jacob finds himself in a dilemma over Sam's confession, especially as memories of Anna getting close to Simon in the UK linger in his mind. Lucas and Jennifer had rehearsed their scenes thoroughly, so under Drake's direction and with the crew watching, they delivered a compelling performance. Their chemistry was undeniable, especially during the kissing scene, which they executed with passion and without any hint of awkwardness, to the crew's amazement. The patrons at the bar couldn't help but give a second glance as Lucas and Jennifer, fully immersed in their roles, shared a passionate kiss. The sound of their kiss filled the air, lingering for what felt like an eternity before they finally parted. Then, Jacob, conflicted, whispered, "This is so wrong, Sam." Sam responded, her arms encircling Jacob, "You won't regret this, Jacob. You mentioned Anna's difficulties with coming back to Los Angeles. Maybe it's time to let her go." The scene continued with Jacob growing more comfortable around Sam, their relationship no longer a secret as Sam became increasingly attached to him. As the filming of their intimate moments extended, a pivotal scene emerged. Jacob ends things with Sam after receiving a message from Anna. Jennifer's acting shone through, portraying Sam's raw emotions in Jacob's room, her tears genuine as they embraced, her voice breaking, "Sam. I've told you before. My heart belongs to another." Sam, through her tears, confronted him, "So, I was just a stand-in for Anna, a temporary replacement." She had suspected as much, yet had hoped to erase Anna from Jacob's heart, a hope that was crumbling. As Jacob attempted to console her, Sam pulled away, moved to the bed, and began to dress. With one final, lingering look, she walked out the door. The director called cut, applauding Lucas and Jennifer's performances. However, the tension lingered, their gazes locked not just as characters, but with a hint of real question and uncertainty. Off camera, Lucas found himself pondering whether Jennifer's feelings had transcended the boundaries of their roles. Days passed, and the filming focused primarily on the complexities of Jacob and Sam's evolving relationship. The plot unfolded. Jacob, after rekindling contact with Anna, returns from the UK only to find himself drifting back towards Sam, who remains an integral part of his band and his life. In the storyline, there were scenes that depicted Jacob and Sam sharing intimate moments together, with Sam expressing pleasure. Despite the scenes being staged, they elicited strong reactions from some members of the crew. As the story progressed, Jacob received another message from Anna, leading to another breakup between him and Sam. Eventually, Anna managed to return to Los Angeles and shared a joyful reunion with Jacob. However, as they reconnected, both began to sense that the initial spark and happiness they once felt had faded. During a shared shower scene, their kisses lacked the excitement and joy of their early relationship. What remained was a sense of emptiness. The narrative took an unexpected turn towards the end, with Jacob and Sam finding their way back to each other. After a musical performance together on stage, Jacob smiled and tenderly kissed Sam, sealing their reunion. The final scenes were filmed at a popular venue in Los Angeles known for hosting artists and bands. Drake, the director, secured permission to film on stage, thanks in part to the manager's enthusiasm for Lucas's music. As Lucas concluded his performance, the audience clamored for more, echoing through the venue with chants of more. 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 Meanwhile, in a twist of fate within the storyline, Anna, portrayed by Felicity, attended Jacob's performance with Simon, played by Charlie. It was revealed that Anna and Simon had also found happiness together. Lucas, embodying Jacob, could only offer a wry chuckle at the situation. The plan had been to conclude filming after 2 songs, Falling by Harry Styles and Say You Won't Let Go. However, the audience's eager demands for more music hinted at the great songs performed by Lucas. Chapter 116, Goodbyes, and Spreading Gossips. Before Lucas's involvement, he wasn't very familiar with the film like crazy from his past life. However, he made a significant impact on the movie's production in this world. The most significant change was that the film evolved into a musical, thanks to Lucas's role as Jacob, who is a singer and musician and even has his own band. Lucas brought the memorable songs from his past life to the film, making him believe that Like Crazy could be a hit. After filming ended, the crew members exchanged goodbyes, and the actors, including Charlie, gave their heartfelt farewells. Lucas then said his goodbyes to the 2 female leads Felicity Jones and Jennifer Lawrence. "It's been really great working with both of you," Lucas said as he embraced them. Jennifer and Felicity shared a quick look before turning back to Lucas. "You're great too, but sometimes, I wonder what planet you came from," Jennifer said with a sigh, her tone playful. "What do you mean?" Lucas asked with a chuckle. "It's just, you have this knack for acting, and then there's your singing and music composition." "Really?" Jennifer said, still playing along. "Hee, I guess Lucas has been blessed by Jesus," Felicity chimed in, teasing Lucas. "Ha ha ha." Jennifer couldn't help but laugh. Teased by the 2 charming women, Lucas just chuckled in response. Lucas had been enjoying his interactions with Felicity and Jennifer, feeling a genuine connection forming between them. As the time came for him to join Drake, who was already engaged in heartfelt goodbyes with the crew, Lucas started to walk away. However, just as he was about to leave, Jennifer called out to him. "Wait, Lucas. Before you go, could I get your number?" she asked, an unexpected hint of shyness in her voice. Lucas stopped in his tracks, turning to face her with a puzzled expression. "My number?" he echoed, unsure. Jennifer nodded, her cheeks tinted with a subtle blush. Seeing this, Felicity chimed in, her own hesitation apparent. "Lucas, could I have your number too?" Lucas observed them for a moment, their earnest expressions making him pause in contemplation. He could see the slight anxiety flicker in their eyes as they awaited his response. Jennifer, trying to ease the tension, quickly added, "I just thought it would be good to have your number, you know, in case I need your help with something." Felicity nodded in agreement. "Yeah, she's right. It's always good to stay connected." Understanding their concerns, Lucas smiled reassuringly. "Of course, no problem at all. My number is..." He then shared his contact details with them. After exchanging numbers, Lucas made his way over to Drake, who was expressing his gratitude to each crew member with genuine appreciation. Unknown to Lucas, photographs capturing intimate moments between him and Jennifer or Felicity, such as kissing, had surfaced on the TMZ website, causing a whirlwind of speculation and gossip. The paparazzi responsible for these images released them without much context, leaving the public to draw their own scandalous conclusions. The controversy escalated when the TMZ television program aired the pictures, particularly focusing on Lucas caught in what appeared to be romantic embraces with the rising actresses. This segment quickly became a hot topic of discussion. The frenzy didn't stop there. On Yahoo community, the images of Lucas with the two Hollywood starlets sparked widespread debate. Threads popped up overnight, speculating about Lucas's personal life and his relationships with the actresses. Comments ranged from shock to disappointment. Lucas Knight, known for his roles in 127 Hours and as Dylan in Modern Family, is rumored to be involved with two actresses simultaneously. Is he living every guy's dream? Dating two of Hollywood's beauties at once. I had him pegged as the innocent, handsome type. Turns out he's just another player. This guy's barely gotten a taste of fame and he's already acting like a typical Hollywood playboy. People like him don't deserve their success. There are so many more deserving actors out there. As the controversy brewed, curiosity about the identities of the women in the photos also grew. Who are these actresses caught up with Lucas? The nerve of this guy. Those women are stunning. Lucas sure knows how to pick them. Are they both actually with him? Lucas is living the dream. The scandalous photos sparked by TMZ's paparazzi spread like wildfire, proving once again how quickly negativity can overshadow positivity in the digital age. A person's misdeeds, whether real or perceived, tend to gain traction much faster than their good deeds on social media. Meanwhile, Lucas was in his hotel room, unwinding after the intense filming of Like Crazy. He had planned to contact his agent, Vincent, for a relaxed catch-up. However, before Lucas could make the call, his phone rang. It was Vincent on the other line. "Lucas, are you aware of what's happening?" Vincent's voice echoed through the phone, tinged with concern. "What's going on?" "I just wrapped up filming," Lucas replied, his brow furrowed in confusion. Vincent let out a heavy sigh before responding. "I hate to break it to you, but your name is all over the internet. And not for the right reasons." "Really? But isn't that typical for actors?" Lucas asked, still not grasping the gravity of the situation. "It's not typical in the way you're thinking. It's not good, Lucas," Vincent said, his voice heavy with worry. He then proceeded to explain the situation regarding the photographs with the two actresses that were circulating online. After a brief pause, Lucas finally spoke. "Those photos? They must have been taken by the paparazzi during the shoot." There was a note of resignation in his voice as he sighed, feeling the weight of his new reality. Lucas was quickly learning about the darker side of fame, one that he hadn't anticipated. Chapter 117, Quick Response. Lucas found himself the subject of widespread online buzz after browsing the internet, particularly on Yahoo, where he discovered photos of him kissing Felicity and Jennifer making the rounds. Feeling somewhat powerless over the situation, he was reassured by Vincent that they would handle the matter. Vincent, alongside Lucas's agency and the IAA, planned to reach out to TMZ to set the record straight. Truth be told, Vincent and the agency considered legal action against TMZ. However, the photos in question, capturing moments between Lucas, Jennifer, and Felicity, were taken in locations that were neither private nor restricted from photography, weakening their legal stance against TMZ. These photos were snapped in public spaces during the filming of an indie movie, further complicating the possibility of a strong legal case. Lucas scrolled through the online threads and noticed the buzzing curiosity about the identity of the actresses he was seen kissing. Numerous people were speculating and responding with their guesses. "Who are these two beautiful actresses with Lucas?" a user inquired. Well-informed fans and Hollywood enthusiasts quickly recognized one of them. "I know the blonde woman, she's Jennifer Lawrence. Isn't she the one who starred in the Bill Engvall show? I've always had a crush on her. Lucas is so lucky. And who's the other lady? I'm from Britain, and I recognize her. That's Felicity Jones. I can't believe she's rumored to be romantically involved with Lucas." As Lucas read through the threads, he couldn't help but laugh softly at the comments and speculations. On another front, not only were Lucas's representatives on the case, but the agencies of Jennifer and Felicity were also reaching out to TMZ, urging the outlet to provide accurate details about the photos rather than leaving them open to interpretation. The paparazzo, Sean, hadn't expected the photographs to go viral so swiftly after posting them online without much context. Now, under pressure from senior management, he was tasked with clarifying the backstory of the images. While TMZ may not prioritize maintaining a flawless reputation and often stirs controversy among public figures, this does not mean they always intend to spread misleading information. They might initially release ambiguous stories to attract attention, but eventually, they might correct the information once it has garnered enough viewership. Hours after TMZ circulated the photos, the outlet issued an update clarifying the situation surrounding the images of the emerging actor Lucas and up-and-coming actresses caught in an intimate moment. The photos, it turns out, were captured during the production of an indie film featuring Lucas Knight, Felicity Jones, and Jennifer Lawrence. While TMZ provided comprehensive details about the circumstances of the photos, they stopped short of disclosing the title of the film. TMZ decided to share this information to maintain its credibility. They recognized that failing to correct their mistake could damage their reputation as a reliable news source, especially once the film was released and the context of the photos became widely known. Although the photos might have promised short-term profits for TMZ, banking on the scandal surrounding a not-yet-famous actor could prove detrimental to their long-term reputation. Following TMZ's clarification, their TV programs also addressed the issue, offering corrections about the photos' context and issuing apologies. They acknowledged that Sean, a journalist in their employ, had initially released the photos without providing the full story, a misstep they were now keen to rectify. In the Yahoo community, users who had been buzzing about the photos expressed disappointment upon learning the truth from TMZ's correction. So, it was just a shoot for an indie film. Similar posts began appearing on Yahoo. Now that I know the whole story behind the photos, I feel a bit ashamed for jumping to conclusions about Lucas. I stayed quiet all this time. I had faith that Lucas wasn't just another Hollywood playboy. As more users became aware of the real context behind the photos, a mix of reactions emerged. Some expressed relief for withholding judgment, while others regretted their quick assumptions. Curiosity about the indie film mentioned also spiked among the community. I'm really curious about this film now. Can't wait to see Lucas's role in it. I wonder if Lucas's performance will match his role in 127 Hours. Quite curious indeed. Amidst the speculation, some pondered if the photo leak was a strategic move. Could this all be a marketing ploy to draw attention to Lucas's indie film? I doubt it. TMZ is known for its paparazzi tactics, not for promoting indie films. Either way, because of those photos, I've now heard of Jennifer Lawrence and Felicity Jones, not just Lucas Knight. While some continued to speculate, the incident inadvertently shone a spotlight on Jennifer Lawrence and Felicity Jones, who, despite being less famous than Lucas, gained recognition through the ordeal. In just one day, full context was provided for the photos, and various media outlets that had initially jumped to conclusions also fully clarified the backstory to avoid legal repercussions for the actors' agencies. However, in a quiet twist, the agencies representing Jennifer Lawrence and Felicity Jones were actually quite pleased. Due to the incident, their clients gained significant public attention, potentially leading to more opportunities and projects. Meanwhile, seizing the moment, Jennifer's agent utilized Yahoo to promote her upcoming film, Winter's Bone. The buzz generated by users began to spread widely, potentially influencing the movie's success at the box office. Chapter 118, Possible Next Project. Lucas noticed that the controversial photos featuring him with Jennifer Lawrence and Felicity Jones were quickly managed, and he couldn't help but feel a slight sense of admiration for Vincent's and the agency's rapid response. Meanwhile, during a call, Vincent shared some potentially exciting news with Lucas, albeit cautiously. Lucas, there's something I need to tell you, but don't get your hopes up. What is it? Lucas inquired, intrigued. You might be nominated for an upcoming Primetime Emmy Award. The announcements will be made in July, but the agency is quite hopeful about your chances, Vincent revealed. Despite trying to maintain a calm demeanor, excitement was evident in his voice, suggesting he was genuinely thrilled for Lucas. That would be amazing, but I won't get ahead of myself since nothing has been announced yet, Lucas replied, managing a hopeful smile. After their conversation, Lucas made a brief appearance on the set of Modern Family before heading back to New York. On the Modern Family set, friends like Julie, Ty, Steven, and Christopher playfully teased him about the photos that had gone viral on Yahoo. Lucas noticed Sarah's occasional glances, suggesting she might want to ask him something. However, when he approached her, she seemed hesitant to speak her mind, so Lucas chose not to press the issue. After spending time with the crew and wrapping up filming, his involvement in Modern Family Season 1 came to an end. The cast shared a bittersweet farewell, uncertain of when they would reunite for Season 2, despite the main actors having secured contracts for it. Lucas, not having received a contract offer yet, left everyone wondering if they would see him on the show again. In New York, Lucas was back New York not just to catch up with friends, but also to prepare for his audition for the Seven Kingdoms at the HBO building. He was curious to find out if this project was actually Game of Thrones, a series he had adored in his past life. Despite the less-than-stellar final seasons, there was no denying the overall excellence of the series. If it turned out to be Game of Thrones, Lucas intended to try out for a role that wouldn't demand too much commitment, as he was primarily focused on film projects at the moment. After all, he had chosen the acting path to experience a multitude of stories, embodying different characters in a single lifetime. It was akin to immersing oneself in a novel, where the reader steps into the shoes of the protagonist and, with each new book, becomes part of a new narrative. Lucas made his way through the bustling streets of New York, his footsteps echoing against the pavement as he approached the modest facade of his apartment building. The city's vibrant energy surrounded him, but as he climbed the stairs to his unit, a familiar sense of solitude settled over him. However, that solitude was short-lived. Upon entering his apartment, Lucas was greeted by an unexpected sight. His roommate Paul was there, engaged in a lively conversation with an attractive woman whose presence filled the small space with a new energy. The moment Paul caught sight of Lucas, his face broke into a wide, welcoming grin. "Lucas! It has been a while!" he exclaimed, rising to envelop Lucas in a hearty embrace, the kind that only old friends can share. "What's up, Paul?" Lucas replied with a casual nod, his attention shifting to the woman seated on the cramped bed that doubled as a couch in their modest living quarters. "Oh, I hope I'm not intruding," he added, a hint of amusement in his tone. Paul's laughter filled the room, dispelling any awkwardness. "Haha, of course not," he assured, before turning to introduce the woman. "Lucas, meet Josephine, my girlfriend." Lucas extended a hand, which Josephine bypassed in favor of a friendly cheek kiss, a gesture that spoke of warmth and familiarity. "It's a pleasure to meet you," Lucas said, matching her warmth. Josephine's smile was infectious. "I've heard so much about you from Paul, Lucas. And I saw your film, 127 Hours, your performance was incredible." Her compliment was sincere, adding a glow to the modest room. Lucas couldn't help but smile, touched by her words. "Thank you very much," he replied, his humility shining through. "I had no idea Paul was championing my work so fervently." Paul, ever the supportive friend, clapped Lucas on the shoulder with a smile. "Of course, man. And that song at the end of the film phenomenal. I tried finding it on iTunes, but no luck. You really should record it, Lucas. We're all waiting for an official release." Josephine nodded enthusiastically, her eyes alight with agreement. "Absolutely, I rewatched the film just to hear that song again. There's something special about it." The laughter that escaped Lucas was genuine, a moment of shared joy among friends. "Well, you'll be pleased to know I've been planning to lay down the tracks. I've even got a contact at a renowned studio here in New York." The revelation seemed to take Paul by surprise, a mixture of pride and disbelief painting his features. It was a stark reminder of how much had changed. Lucas, who had once been struggling just to make ends meet, was now on the verge of breaking into Hollywood's elusive circles. Paul's emotions were a complex blend of happiness for his friend and awe at the rapid transformation from the struggles of the past year to the successes of the present. Comment. For comment. Vote. Chapter 119, Returning the Favor. Lucas chatted with Paul and Josephine for a while before mentioning, "I was about to audition for a TV series." Paul perked up, looking at Lucas with interest. "Oh? A TV series, you say?" He rubbed his chin thoughtfully and teased Lucas, "Now that you mention it, wasn't that the TV series I was supposed to audition for but ended up handing over to you? And then it turned out to be a hit." Lucas grinned and playfully tapped Paul on the shoulder. "Well, it's your own fault for passing it on to me, haha." Despite his playful remark, Lucas added, "But honestly, I have to admit, it was thanks to that project and the opportunity you gave me that I managed to sign with an agency and get involved in film projects." Paul laughed, noticing Lucas's earnestness, and replied, "I'm just teasing you. But honestly, I still think the role of Dylan in Modern Family wasn't really right for me. Actually, I got an offer for a project called The Walking Dead from AMC Studios. They offered me a role in the series, but I don't feel it's the right fit for me," Lucas shared, glancing at Paul. He was eager to return Paul's previous kindness, the same way Paul had given him the script for Modern Family and the role of Dylan a year earlier. Paul's interest was piqued. "Oh? The Walking Dead sounds intriguing. I know you're not supposed to share details of projects offered specifically to you, but could you give me a brief overview of the plot?" Lucas pondered for a moment, then replied, "It revolves around a zombie apocalypse and the survival of the characters." He offered a friendly smile. "That's the gist of it." Then, surprising both Paul and his girlfriend, Josephine, Lucas suggested, "Paul, I actually think this role suits you more than it does me. What do you think?" "Interested?" Paul was visibly shocked. "Really, man? You're offering me the role that was pitched to you? You do realize I was just kidding earlier, right?" Lucas responded with a grin, "Consider it a thank you for that Modern Family opportunity. And honestly, my schedule is jam-packed with offers right now, I've even had to turn some down. This one, though, I thought of you." Exchanging looks of astonishment with his girlfriend, Paul then sincerely said, "Lucas, I can't thank you enough. I'll never forget this." Lucas just smiled back, "Don't mention it. We're square now, just paying it forward." Paul and Josephine spent some time chatting with Lucas before Paul shared some news. "Oh, by the way, Lucas, I've been meaning to tell you. I'm moving in with Josephine. I've already spoken to the landlord, so this apartment is all yours now." Lucas offered a bittersweet smile in response, "Ah, so much for brothers before, well, you know. Here you are, leaving your buddy to handle the rent solo to shack up with your lady." The three shared a laugh, and then Paul teased, "Oh, come off it, Lucas. You can't play the innocent with us. Many were talking about your spreading photos." Lucas looked at Paul, feigning shock, "You've heard about that, hey?" With a playful slap on Lucas's shoulder, Paul couldn't hide his amusement, "As your friend, how could I not keep up? Kissing two stunning actresses? Nicely done, Lucas, very nicely done." Lucas couldn't help but reply with a wry smile, "You do realize it was just for a scene, right?" Paul shrugged, half joking, "A kiss is a kiss." He leaned in, whispering, "So, what's it like? Kissing such beauties?" Josephine playfully nudged Paul, prompting him to scratch his head and admit, "Okay, I'm a bit envious, but thankfully, I have my Josephine." With a hearty laugh, Lucas continued chatting with them for a bit longer before they prepared to leave. "I'll hand over the script for the project to you tomorrow," Lucas promised Paul, who nodded, then left with Josephine. Left alone in the apartment, Lucas sighed, contemplating his new solo living arrangement until the landlord introduced a new roommate. The rent would be his burden alone for now, but Paul knew Lucas could handle it. Unbeknownst to Lucas, Paul had stayed in the small apartment longer than he wanted, just to make it affordable for Lucas. Turning to his computer, Lucas began purchasing bitcoins in bulk, feeling content with his investment. And tomorrow, after delivering the script to Paul, he planned to contact Elena about recording the songs. Chapter 120, Friends. In the bustling heart of New York, as the early morning sun cast its first golden rays upon the city, Lucas made his way to the imposing IAA building, navigating the quiet streets with a purpose. His destination was Vincent's office, nestled within the labyrinthine structure, where he intended to retrieve the script for the project known as The Walking Dead. Upon his arrival, Vincent greeted him with a mixture of curiosity and surprise. "Oh? Lucas, are you considering throwing your hat into the ring for that zombie apocalypse series?" he inquired, his eyebrows arching in mild astonishment as Lucas took hold of the project's script. To Vincent's bewilderment, Lucas shook his head, a firm resolve etched on his face. "No, I wouldn't dream of auditioning for this series," he confessed, his voice steady yet contemplative. Vincent, puzzled by this unexpected revelation, pressed further. Then why haven't you discarded this project alongside the others?" he probed, seeking clarity. Lucas paused, collecting his thoughts before responding. "Well, although I don't see myself fitting into this particular narrative, there's a friend of mine who I believe could embody the role perfectly, he explained, a sincere glint in his eyes. So, you wish to pass this opportunity on to your friend? Vincent remarked, his tone laced with a newfound respect and a touch of surprise. Yes, and to spare my friend any potential embarrassment down the line, please communicate to the production team that while I may not be the right fit, I know someone who could be, Lucas urged, his request underscored by a sense of loyalty and concern. Vincent nodded, understanding the gravity of the gesture. It seems you share a strong bond with your friend, hey? He observed, intrigued by Lucas's altruism. Lucas nodded in affirmation, his features softening. Actually, if it weren't for him, I doubt I'd have been offered so many projects or even had the chance to be in 127 hours, he admitted, a note of gratitude coloring his voice. Oh? How so? Vincent inquired, his interest piqued, sensing there was more to the story. Lucas smiled warmly, his eyes reflecting a fond recollection. Well, the role of Dylan in Modern Family was actually handed to me by Paul. It was originally intended for him to audition for, he shared, his smile conveying a deep-seated appreciation. As the conversation unfolded, Vincent began to understand the depth of Lucas's actions. It wasn't merely a gesture of friendship, it was an act of profound gratitude, a way to repay a debt of kindness that had once been extended to him. After their enlightening conversation, Lucas left Vincent's office and began making his way out of the IAA building. As he navigated through the maze-like corridors, he couldn't help but notice the curious glances cast his way by passers-by. It seemed as though his presence was causing quite a stir, with many giving him a second, more scrutinizing look than usual. Lucas couldn't shake off the feeling that the lingering stares were a notch more intense than when he first stepped into the building. Must be because of those photos making the rounds, he mused to himself, a wry smile playing on his lips. The thought amused him, knowing how quickly news traveled in their circles. Shrugging off the lingering attention, Lucas finally stepped out into the bustling streets and made his way to the cafe where he was to meet Paul. Upon arriving, he spotted Paul seated at their usual spot, lost in thought over a cup of coffee. Lucas waved to catch his attention, and as soon as Paul looked up and saw him, Lucas approached with an easy stride. "You're here," Paul greeted with a nod, his eyes curious and expectant. "So, what's this project you mentioned that you think will suit me?" Noticing Paul's genuine interest, Lucas couldn't help but smile as he handed over the script. "Take a look for yourself," he encouraged. Paul eagerly accepted the script, his eyes scanning the pages intently as he flipped through them. Lucas watched, a sense of satisfaction growing within him as he saw Paul become increasingly engrossed in the material. This is incredible," Paul whispered, his voice barely containing his excitement. He looked up at Lucas, a mixture of astonishment and gratitude in his gaze. "Lucas, are you really sure about this? Don't get me wrong, I'm captivated by what I've read. I can see the potential in this project, which makes me wonder, are you truly okay with passing this opportunity to me?" With a reassuring smile, Lucas responded, "Don't worry, Paul. The role didn't feel right for me. But seeing your reaction, I'm convinced it was meant for you. If you're drawn to it, then it's because the role suits you perfectly." Paul's face lit up with gratitude, a heartfelt thank you escaping his lips. Lucas could only smile softly in return, content in the knowledge that he had made the right decision. After chatting with Paul, Lucas made his way to the restaurant to meet Liza and Leonard. They greeted him warmly, as always, and it was clear from the bustling atmosphere that their business was thriving. Located in a vibrant New York neighborhood, Liza's restaurant benefited from a strategic location that attracted a steady flow of patrons. During their conversation, Liza shared with Lucas that the children from the hospital, who were her friends, missed him dearly, which brought a smile to Lucas's face. Lucas was curious about how Liza had formed a connection with these children, a question he had forgotten to ask previously. He learned that Liza's younger brother had passed away from cancer and, astonishingly, the CEO of Bellevue Hospital was her father. This revelation helped Lucas understand Liza's deep affection for the children, treating them almost like siblings. As Lucas left the restaurant, he was relieved that Liza and Leonard seemed unaware of the recent scandalous photos of him with a young actress, sparing him from potential embarrassment. He then headed to the bar where Samantha worked. Upon his arrival, Samantha immediately greeted him. She had been expecting him since he had reached out to her and Elena the day before to discuss some song recordings. Lucas's music, particularly his song Perfect, was climbing the charts, an impressive feat given that pop music, largely popularized by Michael Jackson and other stars, dominated the industry. His folk and acoustic ballad style standing out in the pop-dominated charts was a testament to his unique talent. Chapter 121, Studio Manager Lee. Lucas embarked on his journey to the Electric Lady Studios, accompanied by Samantha and Elena, in Elena's car. As they made their way, Lucas engaged in lively conversation with both Samantha and Elena. Samantha, intrigued by Lucas's burgeoning career, listened intently as he shared tales from his experiences in the acting world. With each story, Samantha's amazement grew. "Really? You've worked with Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, and other renowned actors?" Samantha couldn't hide her astonishment, her hand flying to her mouth in surprise. Lucas responded with a simple nod and a smile, earning admiring glances from not just Samantha but also Elena. "It's hardly surprising," Elena remarked thoughtfully. "Your acting skills are exceptional, and your musical talent is just as impressive." "I have to agree," Samantha chimed in, nodding vigorously. "I'm really looking forward to the recording. I'm eager to hear you sing again, Lucas." Lucas offered them a warm smile as their conversation flowed seamlessly until they arrived at their destination, the Electric Lady Studios. Stepping out of the car, Lucas led the way into the building with Samantha and Elena in tow. As Lucas traversed the corridors of the studio, he was immediately struck by its vibe, a blend of vintage charm and modern flair. The walls, adorned with album covers and framed photographs of musical legends. Lucas and Samantha were then led by Elena into the manager's office. As soon as they entered, Lucas noticed a man who appeared to be in his 30s, with a stubbled beard and a cap. "Elena, it's nice to see you," greeted the man, Lee Foster, the studio manager, with warmth directed at Elena Rhodes. Elena responded with a friendly gesture. While Lee was conversing with Elena, his attention occasionally shifted towards Lucas and Samantha standing just behind her. Earlier, Elena had informed him about Lucas Knight, whose song Perfect had been climbing the Billboard top charts, catching significant attention. Lee acknowledged Samantha with a nod before turning to Lucas, extending his hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lucas Knight. I've heard quite a bit about you from Elena, and of course, your song's success on the charts hasn't gone unnoticed." "It's my pleasure, Mr. Foster," Lucas replied with a smile, firmly shaking Lee's hand. "Please, call me Lee," he said, returning the smile. "I've listened to your compositions, whether it was Perfect or The Scientist, both songs were impressive." Lee glanced at Elena, adding, "I must say, it's not just Elena's words but your music that's caught my interest. Your work for TV series and the end song for a film truly showcase your talent." "You're too kind, Lee. I'm just an average singer," Lucas modestly replied. In his past life, he was indeed just an ordinary singer, primarily focusing on his acting career and only performing in bars briefly. However, Lee, along with Samantha and Elena, interpreted Lucas's modesty as humility. Lee nodded appreciatively, "Talented yet humble, I see." He then shifted gears. "Well, let's get down to business and discuss why you're here today." Seeing Lucas nod, Lee responded, "This meeting is intended to delve into your music and your vision for the recording, Lucas. We'll explore how well your ideas align with our studio's capabilities and values." Lucas paid close attention to Lee's words, occasionally interjecting with his own thoughts or nodding in agreement. During their conversation, Lee proposed a tour of Electric Lady Studios for Lucas, Samantha, and Elena. As the discussion progressed, Lee, impressed with Lucas's vision, offered him a chance to see the studio's facilities, meet some of the staff, and get a feel for the potential recording environment. This also provided an opportunity for Lee to steer the conversation towards more technical aspects of Lucas's requirements. The discussion was productive, and Lee invited Lucas, Samantha, and Elena to sit down and hash out the specifics of the recording project. This covered the scope of work, music genre, number of tracks, possible need for session musicians, engineering requirements, studio room availability, and any special equipment or software needs. Faced with the intricate details of recording a song, Lucas kept up with the conversation, moving on to discuss budget, payment terms, and scheduling. Lee outlined the costs of recording at Electric Lady Studios, including studio time, engineering services, and any additional fees. They then considered available dates to schedule the recording sessions, aiming to accommodate both Lucas's and the studio's availability. After a 2-hour discussion, Lee concluded, "All right, it looks like we've covered almost everything. The only thing remaining is the contract. I'll prepare it, and we can reconvene tomorrow." Lucas nodded, expressing his gratitude, it's been a pleasure discussing this with you, Lee. Lee returned the smile, the feeling is mutual. With the meeting over, Lucas, along with Samantha and Elena, left Electric Lady Studios. Elena then offered some advice, before you sign anything, Lucas, make sure to get some legal advice. While I trust Lee, it's always wise to review contracts with a lawyer, just to be safe. Lucas agreed with a nod, and after saying goodbye to Samantha and Elena, he reached out to Vincent to talk about the potential recording sessions. Chapter 122, Contract Discussions. Lucas shared with his agent, Vincent, that he had discussions with the studio manager of Electric Lady Studios about recording songs. Wow, I didn't see that coming. How did you manage to get in touch with the studio manager at Electric Lady Studios? Did he reach out to you? Vincent's voice, full of surprise, echoed through Lucas's phone. No, he didn't reach out to me, Lucas replied with a smile. I have a friend who knows the studio manager at Electric Lady Studios. That's how I got the opportunity to discuss recording with him. Vincent, sitting in his office and holding his phone, couldn't help but smile. I'm impressed. That studio has been hosting big names like Adele and Jay-Z recently. And since the studio manager will be providing the contract tomorrow, I'll take the role of your legal advisor. You can trust me with the contract negotiations, Vincent confidently stated, drawing on his extensive experience in contract reviews and negotiations, far more than Lucas had. All right, Lucas simply responded. After a bit more conversation with Vincent, he ended the call. Then, he returned to his apartment, utterly worn out. His day had been packed, from visiting Liza's restaurant to discussing recording plans with Samantha and Elena at the bar, and finally spending hours at Electric Lady Studios talking with studio manager Lee about the recordings. Lucas felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him as he lay down, quickly falling into a deep, restful sleep. The next morning, New York City awakened to the gentle touch of the sunrise, offering a glimmer of hope to its residents. Yet, as another workday commenced, the bustling streets and roads were already teeming with people and cars. Despite the morning's hopeful light, the city's typical indifference seemed to dim the bright promise of a new day. Sitting in a McDonald's, Lucas munched on a regular burger while observing the streets through the clear glass. New York, a city of prosperity and relentless energy, also carried an air of indifference. People marched on, absorbed in their own worlds, barely noticing each other, even as tourists eagerly snapped photos, capturing the essence of the place. Lucas spotted Vincent walking into McDonald's, heading straight for him. Today, they planned to meet with studio manager Lee to discuss the contract details. First, they grabbed breakfast at McDonald's, enjoying a casual start to their busy day. After finishing their meal, they stepped out of the fast food chain and flagged down a taxi to head over to Electric Lady Studios. On the ride over, Vincent sparked up a conversation with Lucas. So, after we sort out the recording contract, you're auditioning for HBO's Seven Kingdoms project, aren't you? Yes, that's the plan. The auditions are still open, aren't they? Lucas confirmed with a nod. Right, but they're wrapping up in July since that's when filming kicks off, Vincent replied. He then shifted the topic. I did some digging into the Walking Dead project you passed on to your friend. Turns out, it's based on a comic. Intrigued, Lucas couldn't help but inquire, oh, really? Is the comic any good? It's quite impressive. I believe if it's translated well into a TV series, it could be a huge hit, Vincent remarked, stroking his chin thoughtfully. It has so much potential, honestly, I think it might have been a better pick than the HBO project. I still feel that the role wasn't right for me, Lucas said, maintaining a positive outlook. Vincent nodded, understanding Lucas's perspective. Well, it's your call. I just hope the Seven Kingdoms series proves to be a good move for your career, he said, offering his support. They finally arrived at Electric Lady Studios. After Vincent took care of the taxi fare, they both entered the iconic recording space. In the manager's office, Lucas was warmly welcomed by Lee, though Lee appeared slightly taken aback by Vincent's presence. Upon learning that Vincent was Lucas's legal advisor, Lee nodded in comprehension. He then handed over the contracts to Lucas, and together with Vincent, they began to meticulously review and discuss the details with Lee. As they pored over the document, Lucas and Vincent pointed out terms that favored Lucas's interests, while Lee explained the studio's standpoint. The dialogue was constructive but highlighted several points of contention. There were clauses that Lucas and Vincent felt strongly about, insisting on adjustments that would better protect Lucas's rights and interests. On the other hand, Lee had reservations, standing firm on certain studio policies. As they went through the contract, the trio agreed on several points but found themselves at odds over others. The discussion was intense yet professional, with both parties presenting their arguments clearly. Ultimately, it became evident that some sections of the contract needed revision to accommodate both Lucas's concerns and the studio's requirements. Vincent, assertive yet diplomatic, took the lead in ensuring that Lucas's interests were not only recognized but prioritized. After an exhaustive review session, they agreed that revisions were necessary. Exiting the studio, Vincent concluded that Lucas wouldn't need to be present for the subsequent negotiations. Vincent, as his agent, would handle the discussions with Lee. Lucas was grateful for Vincent's support, especially since he needed to focus on his upcoming audition for HBO's Seven Kingdoms project. Vincent's dedication allowed Lucas the freedom to concentrate on his audition, reassured that his contractual interests were in capable hands. Chapter 123, Seven Kingdoms Audition. Inside the HBO building, Lucas found himself in a hallway, instructed to sign in and wait for his turn. He joined the line of hopefuls auditioning for the Seven Kingdoms TV series. As he took a seat, Lucas scanned the room, his eyes landing on familiar faces. Among the crowd were Jack Gleason and Peter Dinklage, actors he recognized instantly. Their performances had left a lasting impression on him. Jack Gleason, known for his portrayal of the loathed Joffrey Baratheon, and Peter Dinklage, celebrated for his role as the witty and endearing Tyrion Lannister, stood out amidst the hopefuls. Lucas shifted his attention away from the actors, channeling his focus back to his audition lines. He had practiced rigorously in his mind workshop, a mental space where he refined his acting abilities. With confidence stemming from his thorough preparation, Lucas felt equipped to embrace the role, irrespective of the setting, whether against a green screen or on a tangible set akin to those in Inception, with minimal reliance on green screen technology. After some time, Lucas finally made his way into the audition room. Casting directors and the showrunners, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, were already seated alongside a casting agent. "Good afternoon, I'm Lucas Knight. It's a real honor to be here auditioning for the role of Robb Stark." "Thank you for having me," Lucas introduced himself warmly. Some of the casting directors looked at Lucas with a hint of surprise. They recognized him, in fact, they were the very ones who had included Lucas in the casting process. Interestingly, they had offered Lucas roles such as Joffrey Baratheon, Jon Snow, or Robb Stark. It appears Lucas had opted for the character of Robb Stark. David Benioff offered a small nod in acknowledgement. "Thanks for coming in, Lucas. We're eager to see your interpretation of Robb. Have you gone over and memorized the lines?" Lucas responded with a confident nod. "Yes, I have." D.B. Weiss added, "Excellent, whenever you're ready, begin with the scene where Robb discovers the dead wolf alongside Ned." Lucas simply nodded in response. David and Weiss, ready to watch Lucas's performance, were momentarily approached by casting directors who whispered something to them. Upon hearing the whispers, David and Weiss looked at Lucas with renewed interest. It was quite unexpected for them that Lucas, a rising star known from the indie film 127 Hours, would audition for their series. However, this surprise only added to their anticipation. Was Lucas truly as talented as they hoped? Now fully embodying Robb Stark, Lucas stood tall, exuding an aura of authority and confidence fitting of a young lord. He maintained firm eye contact with the showrunners, David and Weiss. "Get away from it," prompted the reader, playing the role of Jory. "She can't hurt you." "She's dead," Lucas, embodying Robb, responded, his gaze fixed on the ground as if visualizing something lying there. "What the hell is it?" the reader, as Theon, questioned. "A wolf," Lucas replied, his eyes shimmering with a mix of curiosity and resolve. "It's a freak." "No. That's a dire wolf. There hasn't been a dire wolf south of the wall for 200 years. The dialogue continued until the scene shifted to Theon wanting to slay the wolves while Bran wished to keep one. Then Lucas, channeling Robb's commanding presence, declared, "Put your sword away, we're keeping them." The reader, as Theon, challenged, "I take orders from your father, not you." The scene played out until its conclusion, showcasing Lucas's grasp over his character. After Lucas's audition ended, David Benioff spoke up, maintaining a professional demeanor. "Lucas, you've given us a solid grasp of Robb Stark. You've captured a lot of what we're looking for in the character." D.B. Weiss added, with a nod, you've brought out some of Rob's essential qualities quite well. There's an authenticity in your portrayal that we appreciate. Still, there's always room to delve deeper into his complexities. One of the casting directors, offering a constructive tone, said, you've matched Rob's physicality and spirit, which is commendable. Moving forward, focusing on the depth of his internal struggles could add even more to your performance. The other casting director chimed in, exactly, you're on the right track. With some more nuanced work, you could really bring out the layers in Rob's character. David concluded, thank you for your effort today, Lucas. We've got more auditions to go through, but you've certainly made an impression. We'll be in touch soon. DB. Weiss gave Lucas an encouraging look. Keep working on those layers, you've got a good foundation. Thanks for coming in. Lucas responded with a smile, clearly uplifted by the positive feedback from the showrunners and casting directors. Thank you so much, he said with genuine gratitude. David and Weiss offered encouraging nods just as Lucas left the audition room. Once he had exited, one of the casting directors remarked, despite his youthful appearance, which might seem too young for Robb Stark, he certainly has the ability to handle the role. Another added, absolutely, and considering his compelling performance in 127 hours, which was quite intense, I believe he can manage this role with ease. David and DB. Weiss listened to the casting director's insights. David turned to one of them and inquired, so, you really think Lucas is up to the mark? Definitely, the casting director replied. You might not have seen 127 hours yet, but trust me, he's got talent. Hearing this, David nodded thoughtfully, exchanging a look with DB. Weiss, indicating they were seriously considering Lucas for the role. Chapter 124, Contract Conclusion. Over the past few days, Lucas had been pouring his energy into preparing for his audition for HBO's new TV series project, Seven Kingdoms. In addition to this, negotiations to finalize his contract with Electric Lady Studios were coming to a close, thanks to his agent, Vincent. This development hinted that it wouldn't be long before Lucas could start recording songs and, eventually, an entire album. During his auditions, Lucas took the opportunity to volunteer at a local hospital with Liza, visiting children who were patients there. The sound of their laughter and the smiles on their faces were music to Lucas's ears, a reminder of the joy and healing power of generosity. Lucas's visits with Liza became so frequent that he started to notice some of the nurses recognizing him. A few even captured videos of him singing to the children, a testament to the small, yet significant, impact he was making. After much deliberation, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss concluded their casting decisions for the pivotal roles in Seven Kingdoms. Lucas Knight, with his compelling audition and unique ability to embody the character's essence, was chosen to play Robb Stark. His performance convinced them that he was the perfect fit for the role, capturing the young lord's strength and vulnerability. Joining Lucas in the ensemble cast were Jack Gleeson, selected for the role of Joffrey Baratheon, and Peter Dinklage, who had impressed everyone with his interpretation of Tyrion Lannister. Standing in line with the other auditioners, Lucas noticed the crowd had thinned considerably over the past few days, a clear sign that many had been turned away after their auditions. When Lucas entered the audition room, he delivered his portrayal of Robb Stark as he had practiced. It was right after his performance that David Benioff gave him the news with a measured smile, Lucas Knight, after reviewing your performances, we've decided to cast you as Robb Stark. At that moment, a wave of happiness washed over Lucas. Despite his growing confidence in his acting abilities, the confirmation of his role brought a deep sense of relief. Thank you so much. I promise to give my all to this role, Lucas responded, his smile reflecting his gratitude. David Benioff nodded, appreciating Lucas's sincerity. We're looking forward to seeing what you bring to Robb Stark. Your understanding of the character really stood out to us. D.B. Weiss chimed in, yes, and your dedication throughout the audition process didn't go unnoticed. We're excited to have you on board. One of the casting directors added, your commitment has been evident, Lucas. We're confident in your ability to bring depth to Robb Stark. Lucas responded with a warm smile, thank you, I'm really looking forward to starting the filming. David Benioff gave him an encouraging nod, that's great to hear, Lucas. We're excited to have you on board. See you on set. D.B. Weiss added, the production team will get in touch with you about the start dates. Make sure you're ready by then. David then added, the production team will also be in touch with your agency about your contract details. Lucas left the room, his smile still lingering as he felt a surge of excitement for the journey ahead. Outside, he hailed a taxi and climbed in. Just then, his phone rang. It was his agent, Vincent. "Lucas, good news," Vincent began, his voice filled with excitement. "I've finalized your contract with Electric Lady Studios. Lee and I made sure the terms are favorable for you." Lucas's eyes widened slightly. "That's great news, Vincent. Once everything's signed, how soon can I start recording the songs?" Vincent replied, "Once you sign the contract, we can schedule your recording sessions. You could be in the studio, laying down tracks as soon as next week if everything lines up." Lucas responded, "Okay, should I come sign it now?" Vincent answered, "Yes, that would be great. I'm currently at Electric Lady Studios with the studio manager. Come over when you can." "All right, I'll head there now," Lucas replied, and then he wrapped up the call. He leaned forward to speak to the taxi driver, "Could you please take me to Electric Lady Studios instead?" After a short ride, the taxi pulled up to the studios. Lucas paid the driver, stepped out of the taxi, and made his way to the entrance of Electric Lady Studios. Once inside, he approached the receptionist. "Hi, I'm here to see Vincent and studio manager Lee." The receptionist nodded and led him through the bustling studio to the manager's office. Upon entering, Lucas found Vincent and Lee mid-conversation. They both looked up, noticing him as he walked in. Vincent greeted Lucas with a wide grin as he entered. "Ah, you're finally here." Lucas gave a nod and turned to Lee, the studio manager. "Hi Lee, Vincent mentioned I could sign the contract today." Lee responded with a nod, adding in a lighter tone, "Yes, you can. Just remember, I'm counting on your songs to shine. I wouldn't want the favorable terms we've agreed upon to go to waste." Lucas responded with a chuckle, "Don't worry, Lee. I'll give it my all. I won't let you down." Lee cracked a smile, "You're taking me too seriously. I was just messing with you." He then slid the contract across the table to Lucas. Lucas picked up a pen but hesitated, taking time to carefully review the contract's terms. Vincent watched him, amused. "You're really thorough, hey? Don't worry, it's all straightforward. No hidden catches." Lucas offered a small smile as he continued to review the document, ensuring he understood every detail before finally signing. With the contract signed, Lucas, Vincent, and Lee moved on to discuss the recording schedule and what the next steps would be. Comment. 6. Comment. Vote. Chapter 125, Song Recordings. A week flew by, and the long-awaited day had arrived for Lucas to record at the famed Electric Lady Studios. Walking towards the studio with Samantha by his side, her excitement was infectious. "I am really excited about this," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Me too," Lucas agreed, his voice filled with a mixture of nerves and excitement as they moved through the hallway. "This is my first official recording session in a established and professional recording studio such as Electric Lady Studios." Samantha gave him an encouraging nod. "Also, thanks for letting me tag along for your session. It's going to be a huge learning experience for me." Lucas responded with a warm smile, "No problem at all." As their conversation continued, they reached the studio entrance. Inside, studio manager Lee, whom Lucas knew well, greeted them with a familiar smile. "Lucas, great to see you back," Lee exclaimed, offering a firm handshake. "We're all set up for a fantastic session today." Standing next to Lee was Alex, the sound engineer, who stepped forward with an outstretched hand. "Hi, Lucas, I'm Alex. I'll be handling the mixing and mastering for your tracks today. Excited to work with your sound." And beside Alex was Jamie, the studio assistant, her enthusiasm evident. "I'm Jamie. If you need anything during your session, snacks, drinks, just let me know." Lucas felt a wave of gratitude for the warm welcome. "Thanks, everyone. I'm really looking forward to today." Studio manager Lee gave a nod, then shared, "We've gone over the musical notation from the sheets you provided and have put together a draft track. Take a listen and see what you think." Lucas, Samantha, and the studio staff gathered to listen to the draft through the speakers. The song, "Someone You Loved," filled the room. Lucas tapped his foot in time with the music, noting how closely it mirrored what he remembered from his previous life. However, he could tell something was missing. The track lacked certain nuances he recalled. Given his musical background, Lucas was keen to fine-tune the details. He shared his thoughts with Lee and the team, drawing from his memories to enrich the song's depth. Alex, the sound engineer, nodded in understanding during their discussion. "Got it," he said. "With a few adjustments, we'll be close to wrapping this up." Lucas gave a satisfied nod. Fortunately, the studio was well equipped with all the necessary sound elements to enhance the track, making the process smoother and more efficient. After meticulous adjustments and Lucas's final nod of approval, the atmosphere in the studio shifted towards the main event, recording the track. Inside the vocal booth, Lucas stood isolated yet visible through the glass, the focus of attention from Samantha, studio manager Lee, and the entire studio team, who watched with anticipation. Equipped with headphones, Lucas peered through the glass, seeking the signal to start. Across the room, he caught Alex's reassuring gesture, a thumbs up signaling everything was set. Lucas adjusted his headphones, securing them in place as the instrumental track softly filled his ears. On the other side, Samantha, Lee, and the rest of the team donned their own headsets, tuning in to hear Lucas's voice intertwined with the music. As the first chords played, Lucas took a deep breath and began, "I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to save me," his voice resonating with raw emotion, filling the studio with the poignant lyrics. From the first note, Samantha, Lee, and the staff were utterly transfixed by the performance unfolding. Lucas's voice carried the weight of every word, weaving a tapestry of sound and sentiment. As the song reached its conclusion, a respectful silence hung for a moment before Samantha broke into applause, her hands clapping in genuine admiration. "It was really good!" she exclaimed, her voice a mixture of surprise and delight. Lee, Alex, and Jamie joined in, their applause mingled with nods of approval and murmurs of amazement. "Incredible," someone whispered, while another voice added, "Damn! I think this song will become a success." Lucas, still in the booth, could hear the cascade of praises through his headphones, each set equipped with a microphone for two-way communication. Acknowledging their applause with a modest smile, Lucas signaled his desire to hear the playback, his artist's ear critical and attentive. To everyone's astonishment, after listening, Lucas requested another take. He felt something in his performance could be better, his dedication to perfection evident. The team exchanged surprised looks, a mix of respect and understanding flashing in their eyes. Without hesitation, they prepared for another take, aligning with Lucas's commitment to capturing the song's essence just right. Then, Lucas repeated the song until he was completely satisfied with the final rendition. After many takes, he finally gave a nod of approval, a clear sign of his satisfaction with the result. With the recording of Someone You Loved successfully wrapped up, Lucas stepped out of the booth, ready to tackle his next challenge, recording perfect. He gathered with studio manager Lee and sound engineer Alex to review the initial draft they had prepared. After a thorough discussion, Alex adjusted the track to better align with Lucas's vision, infusing the arrangement with a pop sensibility similar to the track of Someone You Loved. Lee, no stranger to pop music's nuances, offered Lucas an approving nod. "This track sounds great," he said, offering a supportive pat on the back. Initially, he had pegged Lucas as more inclined towards ballad, country, or folk genres. However, through their work on tracks like Someone You Loved and Perfect, it became evident that Lucas had a broader affinity for pop, a revelation that only increased Lee's respect for him. Reflecting on the successful recording of Someone You Loved, Lee felt reassured that the favorable conditions extended to Lucas were well justified. The day's work not only showcased Lucas's versatility but also cemented a mutual respect between the artist and the studio team.